Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Mount Mindset with myself, Geo Mcnee. We've got two great guests that are coming on the show. We've got a returning guest, Big Mikey, who needs no introduction, and we've got his good friend, Robbie Frew, who's going to go into his life, some of the things that he's experienced through his childhood and through things that shaped him into his teenage and young 20s through his life. How he reshaped that through some twists and turns and found jiu-jitsu as a way to weed out some of those misconceptions that he had about himself, and what he learned through getting into things like jiu-jitsu and starting a family, where he developed a pattern of discipline and structure and starting to shift his mindset. So without further ado, let's dive right in.
Because obviously it's all based per views, isn't it? Like, because obviously, do the subscribers contribute to anything?
You can't, like, for instance, the initial model was you would put your content out.
Yep.
Alphabet, call them Google or YouTube or however you like, will put ads on that content. So the more times it's viewed, there's more views on the ad, and the advertiser will pay per view of that advert. And the distribution is 60-40, or it was 60-40. So you get 40% of the ad revenue, Google gets 60. And then what they changed it to when that was sort of getting washed out is that you can now subscribe.
Yeah.
And that your subscribers could actually make a difference. You wouldn't be paid no matter how many subscribers you were. Subscribers were more of a metric in terms of how appealing you
play
were.
buttons though, subscribers.
Yeah. So like, but that the algorithms now are that sort of fucking censored that you could have 1 million subscribers and you put one thing up that it doesn't sort of fit the narrative, you are fucking blackballed. And it used to be like, you would know, but like people would go, you're not even showing up in the feed, you wouldn't even show up in the search results. Like you would just complete, and it's all smoke and mirrors. Like you would go in, you would see it, but like Robbie would go in and you'd look and you'd be like, there's nothing here. And it's real fucking sneaky.
That's bullshit.
Like I've seen my
much just like the mainstream media. They pick and choose who they want to show in the algorithm. They pretty much pick and choose who they want to show in your room.
But why do they give a fuck? Because ultimately, if folk are going on to watch it,
it's free speech, bro. It's like anything. That's why Twitter's making it's free speech.
Let's fucking get to it, right? Because I'll tell you what it is. Mindspace in the Cabinet Office, we've got a fucking 89-page PDF. The front page is a picture of the brain. And they go, here's the parts which trigger all the different fucking emotions and thoughts and patterns. And the document goes on to say how to control the behaviour and public perception of anything that we want using this. And they lay it out. Basically how you can mind program, brainwash, and mind control anyone through media.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about like individual targets, you're talking about a population.
We're purely living in George Orwell's 1984 as we speak. It's starting to materialise right before our eyes. I could go on all day about it, and as I say, like obviously I'll no watch what I'm saying, but at the same time, obviously you're employment, you're a business model. I mean, I am employed, so I suppose by norms I'm part of the rat race. I've got a good employer.
You voted for Keir, that's what you're telling us.
I didn't vote at all, bro. That was the bad thing. I think they're all corrupt in some way, so I didn't vote at all. And I actually get a bit of stick for that. Guys will say, well, what voting for to make change, but
can't really? Win if you didn't vote, mate.
It's true, I get that, but then at the same time, even the most sort of courageous and the ones that you think that are going to be your knight in shining armour, they've all got flaws, man. They're all, it's not for me.
You get into that sphere. I mean, the thing being is that people don't understand how democracy works in the UK. And like I done a talk on it. I'm like, right, there's basically 7 levels of government or the monarchy. It's a constitutional monarchy. Right, the 4 levels above do not change. Right, they are. It's
just a puppet. It's just the person you can fucking blame.
Third for the bottom is like the parties. Like the monarch can veto and dissolve parliament.
You just need to look at like the World Economic Forum. Their narrative is pushed towards penetrating different cabinets and different actual parliament and different governments, and whoever's essentially is their puppet.
I was meant to look back into that. Did Tony Blair get the job?
Tony Blair's line earmarked for taking Schwab's.
I know his line to did he take over?
Like,
I'm not looked back into it.
If you look at, for instance,
like Tony B.
If you look at like Schwab, so Schwab's method is let's penetrate cabinets in republics In the UK, he just needs to go to the monarch.
Aye,
The monarch is like the
head
of the essentially the beast, if you like. So they don't even need to go into cabinet level. They did, because all the MPs they're all limited companies. You can actually find their names on as like Boris Johnson Limited. They're all, if you want a real fucking hilarious look, go to where they all have their flats in Westminster. Pull up the council tax rates in Westminster, compare it against your local council tax rate.
Aye.
You would be fucking amazed at how cheap Westminster's council tax is. It's just cheap rates around here, the council's doing very well.
It's not a very desirable area.
Yeah. And that's essentially see all the bullshit aside with politics and that. I mean, we've spoke for we've getting each other fucking years now, bro. Years. Ultimately, hours upon hours upon hours of conversations, much like this, albeit it's not on a podcast level, but just with you just drilling fucking needles into my body, and we've had multiple different conversations, disagreed, agreed, but I tried to not delve too deep into it because it actually gets me angry, bud. It actually gets me angry because...
Why do you get angry?
I just get angry because I just feel like the working man just gets shat on constantly. And I feel like the reason I didn't vote on that as well, because I just feel like you have to make your own luck as such. I just feel like you have to try and make your own success story, be your own hero in your own film type thing.
How many working men get shat on?
It's a good question. Ultimately, thousands upon thousands, millions.
Why do you think you don't do anything about it? You're getting shat on.
Maybe lack of education, lack of competence. They didn't know any better. They didn't know how to escape it, even me included, really. I mean, multiple times I've been offered an opportunity to potentially escape the sort of matrix sort of persona, but actually do something that I might enjoy a wee bit more, but then I've not went down that route because I've got the safety, security, a well-paid job. I was offshore. Or
how safe do you think that is?
It's not that safe, to be honest, brother.
You feel safe?
You feel safe, but it's not that safe. In the blink of an eye, it could go.
So you know that there's mind programming going on, and you know that there's better opportunities out there, but your own mind programming is stopping you from going and taking the better opportunities.
Pretty much.
It's the craziness of it all.
And that's
you look at the working man.
It's article of Putin. It's correct.
And they go, look.
Aye, when you're comfortable. Do you know what I mean?
Just enough to keep you there.
Just enough to have a nice living, have a bra car, go holidays, provide food for your wee boy. Aye, and you're just comfortable enough to just go, right, or maybe that's a bit risky to do that X, Y, and Z, and then you didn't do it.
And the irony is that that's perception, it's not reality.
Aye, correct.
Because if you look at anybody whose life you would go, right, who out there is living the most sort of version of free life out there?
Oh, totally.
Like, are any of them the working man under like government, going to work, paying PAYE?
Totally.
Like none of them are.
No.
There's nobody you don't rock up to a pub where the guys on a Friday night after a shift and go, do you know what, mate? Your life's exactly what I want.
Aye, I know.
You don't.
No, you didn't.
But you go in the pub and the same guy you might have a conversation with him, you go, I'm thinking about starting up this business.
Aye, totally.
And he'll go, I don't know about that, it's risky that. And guess what you believe?
I know.
Fucking guy in the pub.
Aye. and ultimately, I just think there's, I don't know, maybe with myself, I just think there's it's always just a wee bit of apprehension. Well, you came, I'm like, I can sometimes
fucking what I like, I don't know what you like.
Aye, pleasure to meet you as well, Barry. We've got
Robbie in the podcast tonight. We got started off hot.
I don't know, I can be, what am I like, bruh? It's like, obviously, I know you ken me better than anybody, really. And I know you a lot.
Let's clear how long you guys known each other, because I mean you know each other, but the listeners don't know you.
Must be
and we need to fill in some blanks here, because I mean
it's at least like 12 years.
No, it's a lot more than that.
I said at least.
Your timeline's well off there.
At least.
Because
it must be, because Studio 13.
Aye, well.
That's when I moved back from Amsterdam.
Aye, but I knew you prior to Amsterdam.
Did you?
Yes, 100%. Because you moved to Amsterdam, I was pissed off because you started this sleeve that's roughly nearly.
No, because that was Edinburgh.
No, it wasn't. Not at the start.
Hey, where the fuck did I start that? Like,
I don't know. I can't remember, but this was.
It was at Studio 13.
Was it?
It was after Amsterdam.
Was it?
100%, because Amsterdam was first, and then I moved back for the dam.
So we just sort of knew each other.
Scotland.
Just like, obviously just...
I don't know, maybe you were fucking creeping around watching me. I don't think I knew you before then.
You were trying to
You'd might have known me.
Some people in that.
You're fucking stalking me, you creepy bastard.
Creepy cunt, man.
But so at least 12 years, at least.
At least. That's, I would say...
That's when I moved back.
How did you meet?
He stalked me.
Well, but we're sort of...
In fact, to be tucking your vest in.
He's like, I want you to put your needle in me, mate.
If you went up the tunnel...
Date with that vest on, but...
It was sort of this thing, it was bodybuilding at the time. Like, everybody took momentous amounts of steroids and bodybuilded, right? And, no, you anyway, because you were
me,
tiny.
I'm natty.
Right? But I was fucking massive, right? It's no secret that I took momentous amounts of steroids when I was younger, right? But anyway, I was pretty big.
Solid bug.
I was big.
Was he
He was big for a Barbie
I had
doll.
no neck, bro. I had no neck. I did have a suspect haircut, but I was pretty big, eh?
What do you mean did?
I know. That's why I was going to fucking shave it up. But I know, but I just was sort of that type of thing. And then
He's met like in the gym, the training.
well, I knew that Mikey trained and stuff, and
It was obvious I trained.
bits like that. And then
Robbie only had big shoulders.
I had a shitty tattoo, bro, to be honest. And
You did have a shite
and there was loads of tattoo
What was
artists.
it? Like a fucking kanji with wings or some
It was
shit?
like sort of metal Japanese scroll with like my name.
was, with wings,
with wings and pish. It was,
Something
a
that sounded
flying-
really good at the time that you got it.
it was terrible. Right?
It was a flying parchment.
It was worse than a tribal. It was really bad. Eh?
So it was a flying piece of paper,
It was something like that. It was like a flying scroll or something. Eh?
Aye, with a Chinese symbol on
It
it or
was
something.
pish. There's no funny like
Was it
going
like
on with
fucking
it. It
like
was
your-
shit.
was it
I
your
want
order for the
confirmation
Chinese?
that that's what it was,
It
though.
was a
'cause you-
scroll with wings.
It was a flying piece of paper.
Sort of Chinese writing in between it. It was shit.
Did it have wings, though?
It had wings.
Yes, right,
What-
cool, there we go.
Right.
And what did the writing say?
It was my name or something. Some shite.
Did you ever get it verified by somebody
was-
who could read what the...
I know it was actually my
It was
name.
Chinese, though, wasn't it?
Aye. And ultimately I was wanting it covered up, even at that time. So I was looking about like different tattoo artists, and in Fife at that time they weren't as readily available. And I was really big on intricate.
There was loads of tattoo artists in Fife. There was just shit.
They were just all shit, and I was big on line work, and this tattoo, as you say, is about 15-year-old, and that's Mikey's
It
first
can't
sort
be
of line
15-year-old.
work. Well,
I've not even been tattooing 50 years.
Over 12-year-old, and 12-year-old, then would you say?
At least 12 years
At
old.
least 12 years old, right? And it's like, and the lines are still phenomenal, and it's actually holding colour really well. And
For a black and grey tattoo, it's really good at home.
so I looked at it. I looked well even now. The red, would you say?
I'm joking, mate.
Huh?
I'm joking.
And so, well, that's pretty
You're playing at the fair. Hell, colour. It's
Totally.
like my black arm.
And I just thought the line work was really, his line work was really good. So I did email him.
Good
I
lines.
sent him a dick pic, to be honest. No, but I
They
was,
sent you one back.
they sent me one back. I said, right, that's my type of guy.
Aye.
But
So I think we're going to go on.
so,
Fancy a sword fight.
and that was
question
all it
mark.
was. It was his line work was really good, and I can't even
How
sound.
did you approach the email? Did you say, I really like
So
your line work, show me your
I sent him an
bobby?
email. I just says, listen, pal. I says, I'm looking for a cover up. I says, I've looked about multiple tattoo artists in Fife. They're all shite. You're pretty decent. I says, you fancy give me a tattoo? Then we just had to have had a bit of crack.
Yep.
And then obviously we went to Studio 13. And then me in my mid-20s, Joe, I was a bit of a riot, to be honest, mate. I wasn't a riot where I was ever a bad lad or ever a dick or caused bother or anything like that. But I was partying. You're going out, you're drinking, you're taking narcotics, you're doing whatever you're doing.
So what bit were you a riot?
Just
That sounds good.
just constantly out all the time, and then obviously,
Maybe did you be kicking the backside out of it?
aye. And then I realised that that's
This boy necked a bird at a house party. His bird was that
you know what I mean.
in front of you. I got caught.
Probably need to get him back for
Aye.
He's
He comes to me. He's like, Mikey, I need an initial on me to make everything all right.
a what?
Is an initial?
So you,
Mate,
So his ex-missus. This is before his current with the mist.
no, I'd be what you're just so I'm following this right. So he's
He's at his party.
He's came to you because he's
this
made,
is
he's
like
fucked
this
up.
is like a Friday night.
He's made a
I've
cunt
been
of
fucked up.
it.
Made a cunt of it.
He's fucking pulled a bird in front of his bird. That's
He's-
caused an issue. He's then mailed me. The only way to fix this is to get an initial on me. So he comes to Edinburgh.
Was this agreed or was this just a fucking
No,
idea?
I just walked into the studio and
He
says,
figured this was
"I-
going to fix all his problems.
I
yeah.
need
This is your
this
first
cover."
mistake.
I need this. And to
But it
be
gets
fair, I
better.
did.
So we do the initial on his ankle, right? And then about an hour later, he phones me. Where are you? I've met these two Australian birds in a bar. I'm like, Robbie, what have you fucking learnt for this situation here?
But the thing is, I'm not even like genuinely, Joe, all my life, bud. I'm not even my mum and dad's brought me up with manners, etiquette. Like I'm not a sleazy guy at all. I'm genuinely no way. I'm a gentleman.
Who you try to convince you?
No, I have. You can. I've got man. Like that's just the way I was. But I was mid-20s.
So now that your mum and dad's bit is, we can edit that and they can listen to that. What's the fucking truth? Because see what I've met two birds and the tattoo hasn't even healed yet. The initial. That's
still
sort of
bleeding.
we've got a sort of divergence of how you see yourself and what
like, Robbie, go home.
I just like flirting. I just like chatting. Like, but I've not actually got a high body count of women, believe it or not. Like I can count in two hands how many women I've slept with. Like I'm genuinely not that way built, but I just like to chase. I like a bit of banter. I like that. That's just the way I was. So we were just always had good stories to share like that, and then ultimately just the mere years I got tattooed, as you can see, and then.
So the listeners, Robbie's like literally covered legs, arms, neck. He's covered in tattoos.
Robbie would be finished if he didn't keep changing his fucking mind.
Now I've got predominantly a Japanese bodysuit, and I'm going to get finished.
Nearly full.
I'm nearly full, and it's all Mikey's work, and then obviously just a friendship developed for that, and then I would regard them as one of my best, if no my best friend. I would do, without going too deep, I would do anything for him.
Apart from show up.
I show up on time.
I showed up
Ever.
But it does, to be fair, it does over exaggerate how I think I've missed.
Fuck off.
I'm not that fucking.
You've missed me in one.
I've not missed that much.
I'll get Hooper on the floor the if I need it.
I remember seeing the story, because I mean I didn't know any of this before. I can't remember what Mikey was on. I'd put a post up and I tagged Mikey in, and I'm expecting Mikey to just like sort of put it to his story or something, just something usual. But it's came up this fucking video of him in Edinburgh, right? And you can tell the facial expression. I'm like, something's up with him. Before it even words came out, I mean, he's trying to remain calm, and I'm watching this and I'm thinking, this is interesting. And then he's
figure out what you're on about.
So what had happened is you went and you were supposed to go. It was New Year.
Is that when we were assuming I was there at 8:30 in the morning and nothing else was?
In fairness to me, right, my bairn wasn't even 1 year old.
Oh, don't even play that.
And he'd been up all fucking.
He likes to try and play this kid card as if he's the first cunt ever to have a child. I have the only child in existence. It's so hard. No, you know what I mean? It's like I've got young kids. Like we've all got young kids, Robbie. You're the only one with a single young kid. We've all got multiples.
You can't me. I didn't play victim mentality as much.
Young family.
Young family needs to provide. Young family. See, if I'm late for anything, you'll say, "Why the fuck are you late?" I just text them.
Young family.
Young family. But no, think about that. So that's.
Do you not remember that post? I do now. You were fucking livid. But you were. You'd started off. This was what caught me off guard, because it wasn't like straight into a rant. It was. Right, let me explain the scene, and then it was this build-up, and I'm like, what the fuck has happened here?
What predominantly pissed me off about that was, though, it wasn't just me that fucking let you down. I got the brunt of your pish.
Aye, Hooper did it too.
Correct, and I got all the flack and shite for it.
Hooper got in touch with me.
I was fucking hungover, and my barely been up all night.
Hooper mailed me within time. I was like, oh, Robbie might still here. And then I was like, right, it's fine. Charlie wants something for fucking Lush, so I'm in Edinburgh, I'll go get it. 8:30 in the morning. Lush didn't open until 11:30. I'm like, fuck's sake.
Sunday, though.
On a Sunday. Can't what there is to do in Edinburgh for 3 hours on a Sunday.
Fuck all.
Nothing. Fuck all.
So there is. You can go into Instagram and rant.
You can go on Instagram and have a fucking moan.
But believe me or no, Geo, right? This man is actually quite tranquil to the man that you used to know. So believe it or not, when he was mid-20s, much like myself, when I say it was a riot, it wasn't a riot where it was a prick or a dick or anything like that. Neither was he. We were always like, but he would literally take like a period tantrum for like dropping his tattoo gun. Like he would drop a tattoo gun, or the cable would just like maybe move away from ever so slightly, and he would literally flip tables. And he would say, "It's not the steroids, I swear." I'd be like, "No, cool, that's the steroids, bud, because you've just nearly flipped the fucking table in your own studio."
And maybe you just up at the time.
What?
Like, was this the juice just bring this out in you, or was
What's
it
juice?
No, you're diluting juice.
No, it wasn't just that. It was just he would get quite frustrated at things that I wouldn't get frustrated. I would have to say to him, "Fucking, that's cool. Don't worry about it."
I'm very patient until I'm not, if you know what I mean. And the things that set me off are the things that don't set anyone else off, if you get me.
Aye.
But I mean, I can just imagine, like, would that be an adequate defence for, say, like, Ted Bundy?
Yes.
Like, I don't kill anybody until I feel the notion to kill somebody. But most of the time, like, I'm good.
See, honestly, generally, I'm fucking solid. Technology and food are my two to the moon at 100 mile an hour.
Why food?
Because I don't like it when people fuck with my food. So like, I can't mind if I ever told you, but there was a situation once. Came when you hear one of the weeks, it's been a long cunty week. You just want to get home. It's the weekend. I'm like, right, I've just made it in time to order a takeaway, you know, when I'm still a fat cunt. So I phoned the takeaway. Yeah, it's got my order and get home. It comes 6 rice and a curry I never asked for. So I'm, all right, it could be a mistake. Pick up the phone. Restaurant's closed. Lost my shit. Picked up the takeaway, threw it off the living room wall. Rice everywhere, curry everywhere. Kicked the fucking door off the dishwasher. Went off my fucking nut.
Do you know what I
mean?
mean?
Then obviously the aftermath is I've now got to take skirting boards off because there's curry and rice odd in the back of them, and the fucking house needs repainted too.
I know I used to help the situation. I used to just push myself laughing on.
I've taken to Facebook on the review page, and I've got fancy. And I've started it, you dirty. And away I went.
Just feel was that the best place to vent?
No.
I never has.
I deleted that and hoped that it was not seen. It was seen. They mailed me the next day. I was like, really apologise for that. Feel free to come back. We'll give you a free meal. I'm like, after what I just said to you, I'm never eating there again. We are now parted ways.
That's another discussion though. Social media. Like, I used to be big on big on social media, but I used to be like I think I've got 38 followers now on Instagram. 38. Different. I think it's
should
different.
monetize that.
No, but I just think it's different for like obviously yourself, business.
You keep changing your fucking pages.
No, it's
though.
not that I changed my pages, bud.
You've done it like 3 times in the past year.
I can't be fucked with people, eh?
Just
like,
block them.
Like,
you don't have to change your page.
What do you mean you can't be fucked with people?
I'll be honest with you.
I struggle to find them sometimes. Like, what's this fucking page called now?
Like, I'm not the most intelligent man on the planet, right? I'm not academically really clever. Like, I'm not great at math, like arithmetic, etc. But I've got a lot of common sense, mate, and I know what's going on in the world, and I can see it with my own eyes. And I just feel like even with the shit with the vaccine and stuff, I just feel like we're surrounded by idiots at times, eh? And people tend to annoy me. So I'm like, so I've not got anything against anybody. I try and treat people the way we like to be treated because that's the way I've been brought up, and it's just the way I am as a person. But I just like people. What I found with social media is I'd be posting things on social media, right? Because I had quite a lot of followers, and I would be posting things on social media that I had no real interest in posting, but I was just posting it anyway. And then folk would like then comment on my life, like if I was at my work or if say I was out on a Saturday night, and I thought to myself like I'm not even interested. I didn't mean that in a bad way, but I think I'm not even interested in your life. Like it's not. I would help you if you were stuck, but I'm not interested in really what you're doing because I'm too busy trying to concentrate on myself and my family and my friends. Like, but they were taking such an interest in my life, and I was like, this is a load of shit. And then different for business perspectives. Like if I'd been in business, say I was a PT or like tattoo artist or an investor or whatever it may be, then it holds its purpose. But just for like privacy aspect. Like, I can't be bothered with, like, having 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people looking in on my life that have no fucking real... It's like the old cliche, like, your biggest fan's probably a stranger.
You don't have to put your life on social media, though. You can pick and choose what you post.
Well, I wasn't really... I mean, I was never a big selfie fucking poser guy, was I? I was always just, like, I put my jiu-jitsu material on and I'd like to, like, just, like, I was out with a bear or just your standard... I
try and keep the kids off it, like...
But that's what
especially while they're young.
I didn't actually, like, Shiloh on it either. I mean, I've obviously had my wee boy, and I'm 40, I'm coming up for, well, I'm 39 year old, I'll be 40 next year, and I had my wee boy when I was, exactly, and I had my wee boy when I was, like, quite late on. Obviously, and when I was in my ex-relationship, I was in that relationship, it must have been for about 12 years. Nice enough lassie and that, but
tells how you really feel.
Obviously, you're young, and you make mistakes, and then obviously I maybe never navigated it right, she never navigated it right, and then you split ways, and then I met Rio, and Rio was perfect for me, to be honest, and really nice girl, really good mum. But before that, we had our wee boy, and he was just an absolute blessing. And then one thing I will say about him though is I sort of got when I first split up with my ex-girlfriend, I'm going a wee bit deep now, but when I first split with my ex-girlfriend, I was a wee bit lost, Geo, to be honest, mate. I was like scatterbrained, because everything you knew, you're just lost. So I felt a wee bit like, without talking about mental health and that, we're going to keep it a wee bit more light-hearted, but I felt a wee bit, I was a wee bit like, I felt suicidal at one point in my life. I felt like...
keeping it light-hearted?
No, I did. We're keeping it light-hearted. I wanted to kill myself.
Straight into fucking...
No, but I did.
Loaded up the fucking Gatling gun there.
I've never felt like that before in my life, but never felt like that before.
What do you think caused it?
Just about... I've always had a bit of anxiety, blood. Like, it takes me... See, when I wake up in the morning, bud, quite a positive person, right? Genuinely, and I try and I train a lot, and obviously I try and like help my pals and just natured that way. I'm always trying to be the best person I can be, and but when I first wake up in the morning, the first 15-20 minutes, bud, like my brain is just negative. It's just like, this is shit, that shit. What's the point in this? And it takes me to like...
Why?
I don't know. That's the thing, bud. It's just, I don't know. It takes me to like 10 o'clock to like actually get to baseline. And then
is that what you were on a bit earlier in the van? I thought you meant just to fucking wake up. I didn't realise you meant like...
No.
So like when you wake up,
I'll wake up and I'll just think, what's the point?
What's the first thing you do when you wake up?
Well, I'll wake up and then I just like,
you jumping on your phone straight away?
No, I'll wake up and
it'd be a good start. Like that would be that's a good,
usually
good indicator.
Usually, obviously, we knew that the bairn's there, but like
was he passing your phone?
No, he didn't. I've never got the phone on me. I'll go up, I'll get a shower, I'll go predominantly in a cold shower. I'm not one of the advocates for cold showers saves lives and all that shit, but I'll go in a cold shower.
Especially with the fucking negativity ripping out you first
thing. I know, and then I'll be fucking hating it. But I'll jump in a cold shower because I think that's quite a hard thing to do. So then I've sort of defeated sun at the start of the day. Shower. So I'll jump in the cold shower and then I like to finish with hot, because if I finish with hot, then it gets the circulation going.
I go the other way, I go hot then cold.
See, I think it's better to go cold because it's harder to jump into a cold shower when you're just out your bed than it is going hot and then cold. Try going cold first, it's a lot better, it's a lot harder. You think? Of course it is, because you're jumping out your bed, you're nice and warm, and you budge right in a cold shower.
I've got to do all my cardio and shit first though,
well, so your body's warm. I mean. So that it takes me a wee while to get to baseline, and then after I'm at baseline, then I think, right, how can I get productive? I think, how can I better myself? How can I learn something? How can I improve?
Do you ever intercept it?
In what respect, mate?
People don't really realise this. Like, people don't really realise, like, it's, see your brain. I've spoken to people that have been and seen specialists for 3, 4, 5 years, and they'll come in and they'll be like, I'm just not getting anywhere. And I'll say to them, like, right, tell me what you're doing. And it's like, I'm doing that, and I'm like, none of this, like, what's being described here, no wonder you're not getting a result. Like, what do you mean? It's like, well, it's like nobody's handed you the instruction manual for your brain.
Correct.
See, when you go and you look at something, you can hear how the machinery works. You're going, right, have you tried this? And like, no, and we'll try it. They go, all right then. And they'll try something and be like, fucking seem to work. And what? It's because like this is how your machinery works. We've all got the machinery, and it's very, very similar. Like there's nuances from people, but the fundamentals are the same. But the interesting thing is that when you're like, we recognise patterns, so we follow a pattern. It's like you'll prefer to put your phone in one pocket over another. You'll go right then left. You'll have a preference for how you open door handles. Like some people have got, they go over. Some people have got, they prefer to use their other hand. There's all these patterns that you automatically wire in. But they're like anything that you wire in, you program yourself. So whatever that is, what you're running in the morning is a program. You get up, you're going like this, and this is what I do. So you go, step one, what's shite? What's this, what that? Because there's a chicken and egg scenario, which you could argue the fucking cows come on, what came first. But see the machinery in your mind, it isn't that, like, there is a first thing that happens is your focus will determine your feelings. Right? So if you feel shit or negative, it's your thought and focus that you come in, you're completely in charge of it. Right? And that is the, you're
trying to reprogram it.
Well, what's happening is you're just going, waking up, that you start with the thought and focus, this is shite, this is this, I'm anxious, the world's like this, it's fucking, and what happens, it starts to spin, like right? And it just goes, and then what happens at some point, you go, right, that's me done that pattern. I followed that program. Right, let me begin. And this is the thing where you now need to undo what you've done. But if somebody went, why did you wake up and think of that?
Think like that,
and you go, it's just the way I am. It's just my personality. It's just no. You fucking chose to do that. Like you chose that,
and I totally accept that. See, the thing is, like, I appreciate the advice as well. Like, I totally accept that. It's like I didn't actually just wake up and just think today's going to be a shit day. It's not like that. It's just like.
Yeah, but you need to think that it's not going to be.
It's like I need to
start every day on purpose, lad.
But then, we were talking about it earlier on.
Like, for instance,
some folk will go to narcotics, some folk will go to like alcohol to like try and master problems. Like I couldn't think anything. Like, see if I do feel anxious or I do feel like a wee bit down or anything like that, the last thing I would want today is go to that. Yeah. Now, I'm not judging anybody that does go to that, but I always think like nobody gets addicted to like everybody seems to be, I've got an addictive personality when they're putting shit up their nose or fucking or
we spoke about that the other week.
Well, there you go, tanking a bottle of vodka. Right. But nobody's like, well, see, because like I know that if I was to take narcotics, or I know if I was to drink loads, right, then my anxieties, or if I was feeling a bit down, it would magnify. So then, in order to combat that, I'll do like jiu-jitsu, or I'll do training, or I'll spend time with my family, I'll spend time with my wee boy, I'll spend time with my pals. Like, that's, even coming here, like I was looking forward to this just to have a blare with the boys. Yeah. Just have a blare with the boys. Just, and two guys that are, what the aura that I get when I'm with Mikey is, I don't know what, it sounds cheesy, but it's like I don't know what, like when we go for breakfast and stuff, it's like I don't know what to be away from, because it's like you go in a bubble, and it's like and it's nothing but positive, good. You know there's no alternative intentions with Mike. What you see is what you get, and very much like that with myself as well. But if you're good to me and loyal to me, I'm always going to be like that back to yourself. And so I tend to, like, after we have our conversation and I go away for Mike or close friends, I tend to be like, that was good. Like that's when I'm in my.
What was good about it?
Just
what did you feel? The
authenticity. There's no bullshit.
So authenticity is what you're describing, but what was the feeling you got for the authenticity?
Being alive, bro. Being alive.
What does that feel like to you?
It's
getting slagged for being late.
Getting slagged. it's being able to slag your pals, but you know that there's no malicious intent behind it.
No, not at all.
Do you know what I mean by that? It's being able to. You get I think as human beings, you get auras off people and you get vibes off people. Even when I met you straight away, you've just got a vibe of being a good person. You can just see it. It's radiating out you. It sounds cheesy, but it is.
It's true. Remember, you can measure the glow out of somebody. We've got an energetic field. You can measure it. It's not like it's not a woo woo kind of airy fairy thing. It's like, you know, when you get someone and you feel they're not on my wavelength.
Totally.
What happens is your energy, your vibration doesn't match theirs.
100%.
So you go, nah, like it's like you go, like if a Martian landed here in a fucking UFO and was like, show me around, and then you met somebody and you were like, nah, let's get out of here. I don't know, it's not a good vibe here.
Totally.
See if you were to describe it to them, like the Martian doesn't know. It's like, what are you picking up? You're like, you can tell.
You can just tell.
But to describe it to the Martian, you would find it difficult to put any words. But 100%. What you're doing is you're picking up that energy that comes off someone.
And I always think that could potentially, I think I'm going on a bit, but I always think that could potentially go back to obviously individuals' childhoods and not so much trauma and stuff, but I had a great childhood, mother, father, good mum and dad and stuff. But there's certain things that obviously that I would maybe wish my dad had done that he never done that I want to do for my wee boy. Do you know what I mean? Just wee things and
here's the thing for you though: if your dad never done them for you, you wouldn't know how to do them for your wee boy.
Correct. So there's always got this knock-on effect, and it's just like. But no, what I was getting at there is the aura that I get for him is, albeit he will get a ripping at one point in the day, he's going to get torn into. But
yeah, but that's, see, like, because I always say it, because if I like you, I'll slag you.
Aye,
if I don't like you, I just don't fucking acknowledge you. Do you know what I mean? And that, because some folk come in the shop and I'll rip into them and they get the crack.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Aye, totally.
And it's just like, if I don't fucking talk to you, or I don't fucking like you.
It maybe stems from when I was a wee boy, Geo, to be honest, because as I say, I kind of this is a therapy session, but it's like, you know what I mean, for me, fucking hell, but it maybe does just stem from when I was a wee boy, bud, because it's like I was always, well, I did get heavily bullied when I was at the primary school, big style, right, heavily bullied, right, and ultimately, that's where I'll go into martial arts. Ultimately, that's where
you need to change that word It was the 90s, mate. It was called character building.
Character building. Well, aye, character building.
Tuning you up.
Aye, tuning me up. But fucking no Billy Manu anyway, I can assure you that. But at the same time, it was always like I was seeking validation for somebody else to like me.
Aye.
Even to the point when I was in my mid-20s where I was acting the goat at parties or whatever it may be. I need to be the centre of attention. And realistically, I was insecure as fuck because I was anxious. And it was like, well, if I act this way, then I'll no be...
folk will find me funny and folk will like me.
Correct.
Aye.
So I was seeking this validation for folk to like me. And now folk will say that and genuinely still want folk to like you. Now, it's always nice to be liked, but I could hand on heart say now, I don't give a fuck if anybody likes me now.
Could not give
like,
a
I don't
fucking
all I
shite
care
like
about is
that.
my family, my wee boy. I ken who's good to me. I know who's got my best interests at heart. So my circle's really small now, eh? I've maybe got 3 or 4 like friends that are like, and that's it. That's like tight unit. And
I think what
2 or 3 of them I hardly ever seen now. But we pick up the way, whereas I've had acquaintances and that, and ultimately it's guys that I was friends with, and I made mistakes in friendship as well that I could have rectified in that and made mistakes. I'm not perfect. But at the same time, it's like I like to keep my circle small now because
it's fucking easier to manage.
It's just easier to manage, and I just think everybody. I just think once you get to like mid-30s and your 40s, see when you see these group of lags away in stag do's, there's like 40 of them there. I'm like, half of you cunts don't even fucking like each other. Like I genuinely, excuse my French, but I genuinely think he's fucking just a bitch about. There's no substance there. Where's the?
Aye, but that I think people that go on stag do's are the same type of people you meet on a Saturday night. It's situational friends.
Aye,
you're only there because you're at the boozer. You're only pals because you're drinking. You're only pals because you're sniffing bing.
I mean, I've actually got friends.
Aye, because it's birds of a feather flock together.
See, I'm a boring cunt now because I hardly drink, and I'm like, well, I didn't drink because what?
Again, we were talking about it in the fucking car.
One, it makes me feel shite. I'd rather go to the gym with you.
Aye, I'd rather go to the gym than go to the fucking pub.
Like, I'd rather sit here and have a beer with yourselves. Like, I didn't, like, it's not that I didn't like a beer. I fucking love a beer. But, like, and it's like society's...
If you've got that in you, I mean, if you, like, see what you're describing there, you're young, it's part of your formative years, you're trying to figure out what the world's about, you know, maybe you're getting picked on, maybe it's a bit rough and tumble, but your perspective is, people don't like me, you know, I need to change, I need to do something to feel worthwhile, I need to build a bit of self-confidence. So you seek things like in a lot of the classic ones are class clown, acting the goat. You're just looking to get people to like you. Because you don't want to feel alienated or pushed 100%. Out. And then that comes to extremes where you get, you know, the different paths, which is, you know, style, different hairstyles, hair dye, clothes, tattoos, you know, can you fight? All the, like, can you drink?
Can you fight?
I saw this stuff like going through
steroids and stuff and getting bigger. I never took steroids and get bigger because I was body dysmorphic, because I thought I was like I was a good football player. I mean, I was athletic. I was never had a bad build. I never hated my body. But ultimately, I like took steroids and got bigger because I wanted to scare the shit out of folks so I didn't get bothered. So because you probably scared shitless myself.
And was that something that was lingering from primary school?
Aye, I didn't want.
It wasn't happening then.
Aye,
but that lingering feeling, it was going from primary school to later on.
100%, brother. You did. It was like you'll no mess with me now type thing. But then obviously I realised that was all smoking mirrors, all bullshit, and that's when I got into jiu-jitsu, and I said that to Mikey, and then ultimately all the muscles in the world. If you're 16 stone and you go in and there's a guy at 12 stone just takes your back and strangles you, you realise, well, I'm not the Billy Big Shot. You've not got an ego. Then that strips away your ego, and then you take that into everyday life, and that's helped me massively.
How long have you been doing jiu-jitsu?
Done jiu-jitsu for about 10, 11 years now. But I've had a bad back injury there.
You need to rein it in now.
Aye, I do. I had a really bad back injury. I had a double knee up. And I got my purple belt 4 weeks after my double knee up, and I can train through normal injuries, but this back injury I had, two ruptured discs, herniated disc at the lower, between M4 and L5. I couldn't have walked, Geo. Literally was eating my dinner off the flare, and everything was a task, like holding my son, putting him in his car seat, everything was a task, brother. And then obviously my job as well, like I obviously work alongside the Scottish Fire Service. I work for the Mines Rescue Service, so rescue essentially. I've got to be fit and competent, and just going competition rounds hard all the time just broke my body down.
It's
a hard game, bro. Look at the state of my fucking lugs. I've got partial blindness in the left eye in that way as well. Really? I'm fucking... Aye, my body...
It's ready for the fucking...
I was sort of thinking to myself, like, when I had the boys, and I was thinking, like, I need to get it together.
Aye.
And I thought, like, let's read them some bedtime stories, because it was like, how do you actually teach? And I thought, I've got loads of wisdom, but I don't think I'm a great teacher.
Aye.
So we'll start with reading, because I always found that when I wanted to learn something, it was reading books. So the Jocko Willink series, The Way of the Warrior Kid, always talks about jiu-jitsu. And it was like the whole thing, they would go to a jiu-jitsu class and the lassie half their weight was like sort of tapping them out, because it's that much it's a constant mental problem solving sport where people are trying to strangle and choke you.
Well, one of my coaches was Stevie Ray. Shout out to Stevie, like he's a great guy. He's a big advocate of mental health and that as well. And as I say, I've not probably been training now for about, after that back injury, I went back in February, March there. It's probably been about 3-4 months I've been off the mat. Probably it's the longest sort of stint I've been off it, and the boys are at me all the time, and that's a good community to be in. But like you say, there's nothing humbles you more like than going in someplace and there's a guy half your weight just completely manhandles you, and then you can either go away with your tail between your legs and never go back, or you can get addicted to it. And then I just sort of got hooked on it, and then I like to do it, and I still like to do it. But ultimately, when you get that wee bit older, the 5 days a week rolling about with boys of 19, 20-year-olds who are absolute fucking killers is difficult, and the ego does take a wee bit of a hit, because you think, fuck, like, I'm like, although you've got all this knowledge to share and you're experienced in the sport.
Do you think there was a big bit of bluster in terms of this big projected ego, tattoos, getting on the roids, showboating, being the guy, being the centre of attention, and then that you go to this environment and just strips you bare, and you've got to accept, like, look, this thing, I need to reevaluate this.
Because it doesn't matter who.
Because this big facade is not doing me any favours on this mat.
Totally, it's all cliche, the matter's the truth. You'll get to know yourself very quickly when somebody's got you in side control and they might be half your weight and you cannot fucking get up. And you might think, the muscle, you might think, I'll just bench press him off. No, you'll fucking know. I'm telling you, that will not happen. Because that guy can just move his body in a certain position that you cannot move. And it's totally humbling. And you're like, fuck. Even to the point now where when I'm going to go back, I'm going to have to go through that process again. The guys that I was probably tapping out prior to injury, I'll go back and I'll get my fucking ass kicked for weeks until I'm back up to scratch. So it doesn't matter even if you're rolling 5 rounds in, you know that if you're getting shark tanked and you're 5 rounds deep, you're going to get a fresh body in. Doesn't matter even if it's an untrained. You might have 4 weeks in jiu-jitsu, Geo. You're coming in at me and I've been on the mat for 10 minutes straight now, and you're coming in the 9th minute. You'll probably kick fuck at me. I've
read like Jocko talking about him. He's a black belt. He's like, there's probably 10 people in the world that could fucking take him. He's ex-Navy SEAL, task unit commander, like accomplished business guy, and he just looks like a fucking hyena. And he'll tell you, he's like, the worst person to fight is a white belt. He says, because they're fucking lunatics. They've got no idea what they're doing, and it's just high energy. So you can read the body language of the person that if somebody's in jiu-jitsu, you can sort of feel and move what they're doing. They don't have any of that. He's like, so you've got no reference point. And meanwhile, they're coming at you like in berserker mode.
especially guys like yourselves who are big guys, strong guys. The first 2 minutes against a big, strong guy that's untrained is dangerous, because it could just pick up and powerbomb you in your neck. So you've just got to try and navigate that. Prior to it. So I am missing the sport. Ultimately, I think maybe that's why I've been a wee bit more.
Did you doing any training with the guys, like even when you're injured, or did you just take a total break?
Well, I was talking to Steve the other day there, and he was like, I'm a wee bit like, I'm all in or all out, Geo, right? And that's not the best attitude to have, because even the camaraderie and the sort of the friendships you can build, and just even watching techniques is good. Just even drilling, just drillers make killers essentially. So but I'm the type of guy where I'm like, if I can't perform to my best, I'll go and do someone else until I can get back to perform to my best. And now my back's feeling tip top. I'm probably going to go back in the next couple of weeks.
Well, that's the thing.
Genuinely,
so if you get, you're talking about being lost, and people are lost. It's really they don't know what their purpose is, and even if they do kind of feel it, they've not got clarity on how to do it.
Exactly.
And if you're like talking about jiu-jitsu there, it sounds like you were doing something that really gave you a lot in terms of clearing up the things in your mind, you know, that you should keep, the strengths, 100%. And go rid of the weaknesses and ego, and you were like that had purpose for you, that you got a lot out of it. And then say, you know, the attitude of and I mean attitude as in like your approach, not a bad attitude. The approach of going like, well, I'm all or nothing. But the things that you get, I mean, one of the greatest things you can get when you get good at something is actually serving others. And it's helping them and being like, you know, I know I can't come and do this, but I'll be able to do this, and I'll train these guys, and I'll observe, and I'll give them a wee bit of sort of coaching, because all that wisdom, that 10, 12 years that you've been doing it, like that's you know, priceless.
I couldn't agree more. And that's what I need to. That's what Stevie actually said to me. He's like, you're never going to be able to compete with a guy that's training 5 days a week and he's 21-year-old. He's like, so you just need to, your athleticism is going to fade because you get older. He's like, well, that's just a circle of life. He's like, you just got to adapt and then share your knowledge, and ultimately you'll still get the gratitude, and you'll still get the same, because when I'm injured,
you know, when a coaching sort of role,
I mean, think about it.
I was coaching wrestling for him for a wee while. I was coaching wrestling for a bit, but then.
Because then you can still do it without the risk of fucking getting hurt.
Because that is my fear, brother. Because it's easy to say.
You've got a young kid now. You can't fuck your back.
I've been injured, and yet I've trained for injuries, brother. And sometimes it's not the pity party, but I didn't actually think a lot of people realised how bad this injury was. Like, I was near enough crippled, bud. Like, I was fucking, like, I was out to the one side. I couldn't walk. And I was just like, my missus was having to put me in the shower and stuff, but it's fucking.
I mean, the thing is with an injury like that is it's not just the physical aspect, it's the mental aspect of who you see yourself as.
100%.
And you see who you are and you go, I'm not me.
Aye.
Like, this isn't me. And it's that mental part where you go, you need to calibrate what's going on, and that can be difficult. Alongside you're not getting the physical activity, you're not getting the endorphins, 100%. You're not getting around the guys, you're not getting the camaraderie, you feel like you're losing your fitness. So that the training your mind is even more important than training your body back to health, because you need to know, right, look, if I don't pay attention to this, I can just go on a slippery slope.
Aye, easy.
But when you go, look, right, I know what's going on here, how can I best use this situation to my advantage?
Aye.
And it's like, well, you know, what way can I do it? You know, what sort of things can I do? I can't train my body. Can I train my mind? Let me focus on something else and use the energy for good. Because if you don't, what's your option? You've got, I don't like my identity. I feel slipping away. My fitness is slipping away. I'm not around the guys, and you know, you can just get in that negative spiral.
If I'm injured, Joe, I genuinely, like I say, I'm not the best. Like, I've changed massively as a person for, like, as I say, in my mid-20s, like, to the point where, like, I'm in total check with, like, fleeing off the handle. I'm in total check with, like, how I could maybe treat different relationships and stuff like that. I'm in total check with that. But even my missus will notice, she says, there's a massive difference in you when you didn't train. I just go quiet. Like, I'm literally just quiet. Like, and it's probably because I'm not getting the endorphins. I'm not getting this type of camaraderie. Because in a jiu-jitsu class, you can imagine it's just banter, and you could have a doctor with a PhD in there, and you could have a ground worker, and then you could have a rescue man, you could have an entrepreneur, an investor, you could have a tattoo artist, and everybody's just rolling and just having like, and you've just got this, or you have a professional fighter, and you've just got this camaraderie together that just brings it out you.
We've got that instant rapport because these are all for different walks of life, and he's all got different lives. So you come here because he's all share a love for something. Correct. And that's where you feel that unity, you feel that bond, that you feel that affinity to someone that otherwise you would maybe not cross paths, but 100%. You go, this is the thing. And it's probably the same in your work, Mikey, when you're tattooing people.
Oh, everybody and everybody.
Aye.
Anybody and
you'll get conversations with loads of different people.
Surely. Oh, aye. I've got fucking, like you say, for ground workers, to trust lawyers, to fucking prison wardens, to fucking literally anybody and everybody.
Aye.
So some of the stories are great.
But that's pretty much. I've spoken with myself there a bit too much.
But you said something there about mental health. What's your thoughts on that? Because I've got a very, very different perspective on what I see is going on now.
Right.
It'd be interesting because, I mean, it sounds like you've had some sort of highs and lows.
I'll not go too into it because I was want to keep it sort of like. Obviously,
you fucked that up when you said you felt suicidal. You've that fucking boat. That
ship sailed fucking away and sank.
Oh, right, fair enough. We'll get it back.
That's fucking been to New York and back.
Mental health for me, like, it's easy for men to go, oh, I've got mental health issues, right? But then obviously, like we spoke about, they'll hit the drink, they'll put shite up their nose, whatever. Right, and then that's just magnifying. The reason I stopped actually...
Is that mental health though? Is it an excuse to act like a fucking ass?
It's an excuse to act like that. That's what I think. Mental health for me, like, it's like you say, it could be trauma for when you're wee. It could be a build-up of certain situations.
See, I don't agree with it.
And then it can all reach a head. But sometimes you could just be built that way. However, I think that you have to want to help yourself, Geo. That's what I think, right? So, like I say, I've always, since I was a wee boy, I don't know what caused this, but since I was a wee boy, I've always had health anxiety. So, like, I had bronchitis or a chest infection, pneumonia last year. Like, I was convinced I was going to die. Like, convinced, right? And
it's not hypochondriac or something.
But it's like hypochondria, and it's so plausible. You know you're being a hypochondriac, and you know you're being a fucking blouse. You can, but you can't help.
Gay. I mean, we've got a word for that. Being fucking gay, 90s gay, not the new gay, the good old fashioned,
old school one.
But you came on like,
somebody, if you started,
I know a few people like that,
and you think you're going to, but
like my neighbour's birds on. Like if she phones the doctors, they ken they've got their as soon as she phones, they ken they're going to hear talking off a ledge. And she's on the system as, you know, a complete fucking hypochondriac. They need to talk her doing that.
Worse, brother, as well. Google's made that.
See, I'm the opposite. My missus would be like, "You must be fucked if you can't." Like, if I'm like, "I don't think I'm going to make it," she's like, "I think you're a lot worse than you make."
Aye,
I'm not like, I'm sort of like the you know, the juggernaut. I'll keep going. There'll be bits of me falling off. I'm like, I can be like that. I can make it.
Well, last time,
I would love
I'm
to
sort of like, if you're one end of the scale, I'm the other. I'm like, right, I don't think I'm that bad. She's like, you need to go and lie down. I'm like, I think I make it. I don't think it's as bad as you're making out.
I was like, when I got admitted to the hospital, I was like, I think I'm all right. She's like, nah, I'm phoning the doctors. Hospital, 56% oxygen levels. You know what I mean?
Really deficient,
you know, you can't walk to the ambulance. I've just hoovered the lounge, mate. I can walk to the ambulance. I'll be fine.
No, it's not to get it twisted. It's not that I'm a hypochondriac. It's
I think not was gay.
Well, I am. I just think the worst. So it could be something that's very minute, and I could think it's going to be. I always think it's going to be the worst outcome. And as I say, but then I felt like I got.
But on the same token, planning for death when it isn't is always a good result too.
It's interesting. Like, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm looking at the things that you do. So you're waking up with anxiety. Like, you're waking up and you're like,
putting yourself in a hole.
I'm instantly, my thoughts and focus are
doom,
negative. If you imagine, like, ultimately the best outcome, ultimately the worst outcome, you would call that positivity, negativity, or optimistic, pessimist. Like, that would be the scale. So you're without interrupting your pattern, you go that way. Like, you have a natural draw towards that initially and then you try and get. You're like, and it goes there, and you recognise it, and then try and go back up. But you go down that path. That's your North Star currently.
He empties the cup and then tries to refill it.
But it's weird. But see, the thing is, brother, I realise it's weird. That's not. See, cut all the bullshit aside. That I realise it's weird.
It is weird.
Like I'm quite an optimistic person, brother. Like,
doesn't sound like it, Bob.
No, but I am though. You get what I mean? I'm quite an optimistic. I'm quite a positive-minded individual. Like,
you get there, but you start in the fucking pit.
Pretty much. If I do get injured, I'm like, this is shite. Fuck this. But then I go, right, what can I do to combat this? So I say, right, well, I can't do anything.
What age were you when that changed? What age? Like, so when did you recognise it? And what was life like before you used to do it? Because you weren't made like that. Like, so you said something like, I think it's just the way I'm built. That's pish, right? Because you weren't shot out the womb going, here's fucking Mr. Pessimist. Something somewhere along the lines took you to go that way.
Is it learned behaviour? Is your dad negative, Nancy?
No, not at all. It could be like.
Or is your ma that? Your sister?
No, not really, bud. No. Obviously, I had a great childhood, and then when I went to school, like, honestly, Joe, I'm not just saying this, bud. Right? I can remember primary one, bud. I promise you, I'm not just saying that to say it. I can mind primary one, right? And I was sitting, and I used to like just like being free and just playing. I can mind the primary one sitting, right? I can mind it vaguely. It's a vivid memory, and I was like,
it can be vaguely and vivid.
No, it's a vivid memory. It's a vivid memory, sorry. And I can remember sitting and going, fuck, I need to sit in here for 8 hours a day. And I was only in primary one, bud. I was like, Like, when do I go and play football? When do I go? Like, I need to sit here and listen to this shit for 8 hours, and I have to do this 5 days a week. And ultimately I'm still doing that because I'm still sort of part of the rat race. And it's like, but even in primary
it's almost like you made it like that, so you would keep doing it.
Aye, but even I know. Well, you can just like it. But I thought this is shit. So then I've always like seeked like just more, and then obviously then my mum and dad split up when I was about maybe 14, got into a bit of financial difficulty, and they split up. So we went for nothing to like. I had to get a job. I was working in a butcher's when I was 14, and then that was me working in a butcher's when I was 14, having to like, and I was seeing everybody else, maybe a bit of bitterness, getting their driving lessons paid for, getting their first deposits on houses and that, and everything I've done for myself. Now I love my mum and dad to bits, but I've never had handouts off mum and dad. I've done everything myself, but everything I've done myself.
And do you blame them?
I didn't blame them, no.
You fucking should.
Because
they'll get rid of the bitterness.
But because they're good parents, but at the same time, I just ken that I'll know, like, and you can be spoiled too, but I'll just. The
thing is,
I don't want that for my boy.
What you need to realise is
everybody's got trauma.
Like,
and shit,
it's like perspective. Is you go like trauma is a word that's thrown about, and it's like
I get that.
Like it's thrown about because you could like there'll be somebody out there that like in their perspective they'll really feel this.
Aye.
They'll go, my dad didn't pay for the deposit of my first house and I've got trauma from it.
Aye.
And they'll literally feel that. They'll convince themselves that that's a traumatic experience.
And really, if you think of it,
and then you get somebody that's like survived a
sexual abuse or
it's heinous.
Correct, aye.
And they're like, they've made a decision, they've made a choice to not focus on that and go another way. They want something else in life. And they go, what is it that I want?
It's a choice. I say this about almost talking everything, like, but I think it's a choice. Like, I grew up with quite a violent alcoholic dad growing up, and some of the situations I'd been put in as a kid are horrendous.
Shit, aye.
Absolutely does not fucking make me up nor down.
But the question you ask yourself is you say, right, if it's like, how is it that there's people that have got everything in the world, like all the money, the family, the love, and they've got nothing and they're in rehab and they just can't try and escape it all. You get somebody that's been tortured, abused, trampled on, left by the people that should love them, and they go on to have one of the best, most thrilling, successful lives, and you go, right, how have we got such different outcomes? And because you go on one side, somebody's got everything, you've got another side, how did he or she possibly get out of that? And you go, well, what did they do? Because they never had anything. And you say, well, it's inside. And you go, well, how if it's just as simple as it's inside, how have they got absolutely nothing? And it's a case of, just like you say when you wake up, the waking up part is, right, you are in charge. Right, you know, here's the difficult bit. Right, see if you've got trauma, right, and it's eating away at you, and you've got like this sort of anxiety, and you've got these feelings, and you look at what the world like this, right? You're in charge of that, and how you feel you're in charge of it. And that's a big responsibility, because see if you feel shit and you feel like this way, it's a tough pill to swallow. That you could have changed it and you never. That's a big tall order. You go, your ego, like we said, will not let you take that responsibility. Because fuck you, I'm not taking that. So when you get stripped back, you go, well, here's the power of accepting that you've got choice to control how you think. Is you can actually influence, you can break into the pattern and change it. Just like you do in the morning, just like you feel about your health, just like you feel about your child, anything. Can be your particulars were what you described, bullying, situation with the family breaking up, feeling that you had to sort of prove yourself to get some validation and things like that. They're all like, people really relate to that. But you'll get somebody that will have literally no feeling about that set of circumstances. You got somebody that goes, I'm fucking suicidal about what happened. You go, well, the same thing happened to the two of them. How is it one has such a different reaction to the other?
It's interesting. It's interesting because like I say, I'm quite a
because you can choose to hang on it, you can choose to just be like, fuck
totally. And that's the thing with me. I'm quite proud of myself. Victim mentality.
Exactly.
Poor me, and that's what I tend to know. But I didn't dwell on it. But I just think is that.
You might subconsciously though.
Subconsciously, that's what I'm saying.
This is the thing is that what he's doing is a boomerang, so he's getting pulled into it and then needs to pull himself back out. It's exhausting. Because he goes, why am I ending up here? And then needs to do all the work to get back in. What the fuck did they go in here for?
Because see when I obviously split with my ex-girlfriend for 12 years, totally lost, was, as I say, feel suicidal, felt shite, etc, etc. But the thing is, the relationship had broke down well prior to that, so I was actually happy to be in the relationship, as fucked up as that sounds.
I felt fucking free, not suicidal.
I felt, which was mental, but just felt lost, But I wasn't feeling suicidal because of the relationship, I was just feeling...
You were institutionalised after 12 years,
correct.
You know what I mean? You get used to the fucking pattern in that.
And you're totally institutionalised, but then you didn't feel like you were in a happy relationship, so get out of it. I said that to Mikey, if you're not in a happy relationship, he isn't happy, I'm just saying, if you're not in a happy relationship, get out of it. I mean, I totally understand that. But I was just like, I'm no like, I just felt I made some irrational decisions with X, Y, and Z, maybe friendships, maybe that wasn't the nicest version of myself. And I thought, I'm not going down that route. And then I got like all anxieties and all that in check. I genuinely did. I was like, I'm having a positive outlook on life all the time. And I'm going to, because like, obviously the old Bruce Lee quote as well, like if like,
be like what?
I didn't like, obviously, a quick temper will make a fool of you soon enough. Like that's like a Bruce Lee quote, and it basically is like, if you're impulsive and act with a quick temper, 9 times out of 10 you look back at that and think,
you make the wrong choice.
I acted like a prick there, out of anger or out of the wrong choice. So I've sort of trained my brain to not act like that, and jiu-jitsu helped, and went into my new relationship. But Rio even says when I'm no training, I'm never a crab bastard or a dickhead. I'm never nothing like that. I genuinely am there.
Just not noticing that you're yourself.
I'm just no more upbeat, energetic. So when I do train, and it might not even be jiu-jitsu, it could be a kettlebell workout or like yourselves, or release good endorphins. I'm a better boyfriend. I'm a better father. I'm a better everything, because I just feel like there's no any worries. I feel. When my wee boy was born, Joe, what I'll say to you is, but the last thing I was sort of saying it is, when my wee boy was born, the anxiety sort of crept back in because I was responsible for another human being. Like, I always wanted to be a dad, and I would like to say I think I'm a great dad, but I've spent so much time with my wee boy, and I love my wee boy. He's a blessing for God. I love him to bits. But I just feel that I had this massive responsibility to look after this human and mould him not to be a fuck up. And all these anxieties came back.
It's a really good focus, that, isn't it?
All these anxieties came back to me, even to the point where if it goes a car journey, something I've not got control of, I think, and I'm even touching my, I just think, what if that car crashes and my wee boy dies? Fucking mental thoughts.
These are the things.
Mental thoughts.
These are the things. Is that right? I mean, we've done this in the mindset coaching group. So the pattern goes like this. Like, what you focus on and what you think about creates your feeling, right? And your feeling is the accelerator pedal for you to take an action.
Aye.
Right. So if you focus on, like, if you really, really focused on, like, my son's going to die, a car's going to crash into him.
Aye.
Like, what that feeling is going to fucking spill over.
Aye.
Like, you're going to get so wired and amped up that your next action is probably going to be erratic.
Correct.
Right. And you're like,
totally
I need to form. He needs to come in. No driving, right? There's dangers after, and you start to convince yourself,
correct,
right? And then it goes back to your thought and focus. Right? Your thought and focus is, right, to justify this erratic action.
Aye.
I better go and look at how many people die in car accidents each year.
Aye.
Right? Then you go into that and you go, well, that could be today. And then your feeling is, right, nobody should ever drive a car. And you can see
it's
how
like a risk assessment, essentially.
And you sit there and you go, like, well, how many days a year are people killed in accidents? There's 10 people that get in a car, and that's the last car journey.
Aye.
And that happens 10 times a day. And you fucking just get in this wicked spiral. And then you might say something about, like, Robbie, talk me through it, and you tell me this, and you fucking blast out the data, and you're in you're on a fucking real rampage here.
Totally,
I'm like, right, cool. He's like, so what is it you doing? You're like, mountain rescue fabric. How dangerous is that?
Aye.
Let's run some numbers. And you go, right, how many of them? That's a way bigger risk. But it's like this and it's like that. What would it be like if your son grew up without a father? And you're like, right, so here's the comparison.
Totally,
something that's really safe, you're blown way out of proportion against something that's got risk that you'd think about without doing anything.
Well, that's my job, but I teach confined space, I teach working at height, I teach first aid, high risk, ERT, that's I risk assess every day, bud. So I think, how can I tell people to risk assess every day and and hazardous areas where you could potentially get asphyxiated with a gas. But then I'm totally irrational with other things that 9 times out of 10 is never going to materialise. And ever since my boy was born, that sort of crept back in. And that's because when I look at Mikey, he's that laid back and easy going. I always think, fucking, like, I would like, and then when I obviously look at yourself, and just met you tonight, but we've had banter and stuff in that, bro. But you seem like you've got your shit together mentally. And
it's because we do.
Aye. And that's an admirable trait, by the way. That's me giving you a compliment. That's an admirable trait because I have 90% where I know what actions to do to control my intrusive thoughts mentally, physically, etc., etc. Not to let the negativity come into my brain. I know what to do to combat it and know what not to do. But then at the same time, I can't help but go, what if this is going to happen? What if that's going to happen?
So there you go. See what you said there? You just convinced yourself. You notice what you said?
No, I didn't.
I can't help.
Aye.
See if you say that, what are you telling yourself?
Aye,
remember, what was Bruce Lee's other famous quote? Aye. Be like water.
Be like,
right? Because you absorb energy. Right, you absorb energy. You're listening to yourself.
Aye.
What'd you just say?
I can't help it.
So what do you feel about? See if you listen, your thought and focus is I can't help it.
Aye.
What do you feel about that?
You can't help it. Of course you can, because you can change your mindset.
No, but how would you feel if you thought I can't help it?
Aye.
What would you feel would be your next feeling?
Despair.
Now, what action does despair generate? Panic,
sadness, panic,
rush,
aye,
grab,
rush.
hold.
Aye.
You know, how do you feel when you do that?
Aye. Shite.
And it just you go, but where did it start?
Aye.
You started with I can't help it.
Aye.
Right, and imagine how many people say those incantations, those magic spells into themselves, and you know what happens is you believe it, and you believe it more. See, the more you say it, you believe it. You're like, it's fucking me.
Aye.
It was me. It was always me.
Aye.
And you believe it. We could go back if we had a time machine. Right, and we went back through Robbie's life. There'd be a time where there'd be an age where we get, you would go, he doesn't have any of that in him.
Aye.
What happens? Something happened, or he seen something, or it was like maybe somebody was in a car crash.
I apologise, baby. I feel like I've been speaking about myself. I know if I look, maybe I needed to get.
You're a selfish cunt.
Maybe I'm a bit of a prick. Maybe I needed to get some shit off my chest, boys.
He's fucking came loaded with the bags.
Therapy session. I didn't actually intend for it to be like that.
I am Niles Crane.
I didn't actually intend for it to be like that at all, but ultimately, although I'm older than you, like I can confide in you.
You are older than me.
But I can confide in you, and vice versa. You always.
I'm pretty level-headed.
Aye.
Like I can dish out some reasonably decent wisdom on occasion.
I feel like I can as well, though. Like, see if there was somebody that came to me, and came into you. I feel like I'm always trying to fill other folks' cup. I feel like I'm always trying to help everybody, when realistically sometimes I should just try to help myself. That's what I feel like, because it's my nature. I just want to be the best, kindest, nicest person I could be, and ultimately it's maybe a wee bit misunderstood. I would honestly just want to it's just the way I'm not looking for likes here or anything like that, but it's just the way I'm like. I come out to Morrison's the other day there, bud, and my missus was with me, and I had fucking this blanket I used to take on the night shift when I went to kit, a big massive furry blanket, and this boy's sitting outside Morrison's, and he's in the winter, it wasn't the other day, it was in the winter, it was fucking freezing, bud. And I was just going back to my car with my messages, and I just thought, just came to my head, I was just like, fuck, I've just got that big fleecy blanket. Kevin, I'm just going to go and give that to that boy, because he's freezing. And I just went and gave it to the boy. But I didn't fucking post all on social media that I gave it to the boy looking for fucking attention. I was just like, that boy needs a blanket, I could buy a new blanket. Fuck it, I'm giving that boy a blanket. Like,
was he grateful, or did he be like, I could have fucking warmed up with a bottle of whiskey?
No, he was totally grateful, bud. Totally grateful. He was fun, which made, because there would be nothing worse if he said, you could have bought me a bottle of whiskey or something.
There's a wee toss bag like that,
there is a lot of wankers that are like that.
Aye.
But the boy was totally grateful, written on his face, because that was probably the only act of kindness he had that day. And that's genuinely who I'm as a person. So when I put it in perspective, and like, see when I hear other folk moaning about shit, Geo, I go to myself, fuck, there's bairns dying with cancer, man. Like, we were talking about, obviously, what happened to Ashley, Kane, and obviously you done really well for the Azalea Foundation and all that. That man's went through fucking 10 times worse than we could ever comprehend or ever imagine. And then I'm sitting here fucking moaning next to my mum. That's what, when I'm 14, I'm like, get a fucking grip, bub. And I do put it in perspective, brother. Like, I genuinely do.
That's the thing is, like, people are, they don't perceive the world. I mean, I was doing a bit of training and I was looking at how the mind works, and we have distortion, deletion, and delusion. Or we literally delude perception to make it fit how we look, but people's perception is this is how bad it is. This is what I mean. Is like you go,
we live in delusion now.
This is what people are doing, and you go, and it's like what you're saying. People are in this delusion where they're like, you know, if you look at, I look at mental health as the same you would do with training. So you mentioned something there. You were like, I feel like I'm 90% together, but there's 10% I just need to dial in, right? And you're like, when I look at other people, they seem to have got that bit dialed in, and that seems to have escaped me. And it would be great if I could get that figured out. And
it's all a set few though, Geo. Like I get that off you that you've got your shit together. I get that off Mikey quite a lot. But other than that, I look about and like I've got, I'm no name on, but I've got like an old acquaintance or a friend, I suppose, that just every action he does, it's like, I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm not going to drink any bevies. Yep. And it's like, when are you going to break that? When are you going to break that fucking cycle, mate? Like when are you actually going to grow as an individual? Like that's like what the fuck's happening here?
What happens is that pattern. So that pattern, like you could go and do it. So what happens is you wake up, you feel shit. The world's a mess.
Aye.
I feel negative. I hate my life. What's the point? Right? You feel completely helpless. You feel in despair. You just feel down, and then your action is, I don't want to get out of my bed. Or I don't want to go to work, and then the thought and focus is, why am I even going here? I hate traffic. And then what? See, with the third cycle of that, right, going through the feeling, the thought, feeling, action. Aye. The third, guess what you want? By the time it comes to action, you want escape. So the escape is, let's get pished. Aye. Let's get full of it.
Turn to substances to try and escape reality.
Yeah, and the positive way would be go and find something that you can do, a physical activity, go and train jiu-jitsu like you'd said there, go and climb a hill, get out in fresh air and go and do something.
Totally,
right, but that's escape with a benefit, right? And you will get escape with alcohol and drugs, you definitely will, but that escape is messing with your physiology, right? It's messing with that energy that's inside you, and it feels great at the time, but you can't sustain it. And then because what goes up must come down with these things.
100%.
And there's such a big bill to pay the more you do it. And you know, maybe you're getting on, maybe you're making a few extra quid, maybe you're not constricted with a budget, and you end up going way out to sea.
I know guys that are on tablets for the doctors, and then they're fucking hitting the bottle near enough every second night. You're like, you're taking tablets for anxiety and depression, yet you're fucking drinking like fuck. Yeah. Like, what planet are you on? And
you look at people that drink. I mean, I'm not like I don't drink anymore. But I remember when I did drink, it would be like a case of see if you like. I was speaking to somebody the other day, and I was listening because I mean I'm paying attention to language now more than ever. Because if you imagine, like, words are literally like a magic spell on you. You can hear so much about what people are like, with what words that they're using. Right. So he was saying that he was, doing well in business, usual sort of business problems, people try to get paid, cash flow in that situation while you're waiting on getting paid and all that sort of stuff in the corporate world. And he's like, it's stressful. So because it's stressful, I need a drink to handle the stress. Aye. And I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. No. But if you're telling yourself that, guess what you're going to do? You're never getting off this wagon. You're never getting off this fucking rocking horse. No. And then see how you feel before you get pushed.
Alleviate the stress when really it's just contributing to the stress.
Aye, and if you think the stress is bad sober, how do you think that stress is fucking going to feel when you're hungover?
100%, but that's what I've noticed. Well, I stopped drinking, mate, to be honest. I was sober there for just to drink. I stopped taking like any like recreational drug use. And I was never bad on drugs, but your mid-20s, recreational drug use. But I've not taken drugs for years, man, right? Years, because it didn't serve me any purpose. Ultimately, you're getting panic attacks and all this anxiety for fucking shite. Yeah. But drink, I used to like, I like a cold beer. I like the taste of cold beer, but beer doesn't agree with me. No, the point when I'm aggressive with a drink, I actually go in myself with a drink. I'm not really extroverted with a drink. I'm actually more introverted with a drink, which is bizarre. But I've got this thing, as I've got older, well, it's confirmed now, I've had it tested. My body doesn't create a thing called DAO, which is it's just an enzyme, essentially, that my body can't basically filter out histamine. It can't control its histamine levels. So my body reacts differently to high levels of histamine. It can't basically excrement it. So to the point where I need to really watch my diet. If there's certain things I eat,
You don't take antihistamines to balance it out?
Well, you can, but then obviously, if you're taking antihistamines every day, like fexofenadine and stuff like that, citrazine, it's no great for you. It can fuck with your nasal passages, stuff like that. You can. So it's really diet related. So basically, it's DAO. It's called. It's
Is that why you went more carnivore?
Pretty much, aye. It's a digestive enzyme that's in your small intestine, and it can contribute for irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, severe migraines. I can take a migraine attack, Joe, for about 72 hours that completely disables me, and it all is just dependent on what I've eaten. So I've got like a food diary that's dialed right in now. That and see if I drink more than 2 bottles of beer, bud, I'm on death's door with migraines as opposed to being hungover. And I used to just sort of attribute it to a hangover. What would just it's just a hysteria for a beer. And then I was eating a banana and I nearly took anaphylaxis. And I ate a watermelon and I was sick. And I was like, there's fucking something wrong with me here because bananas are good for you. Watermelons are good for you. Like, what's fucking happening? Obviously, done a wee bit more research, then got the test done. Turns out that obviously my body's deficient in what's really good for it is like Icelandic lamb kidney and stuff, kind of like kidney, so I take supplements for it, and it helps because sometimes it can just be this attack on the immune system, which is totally bizarre because I never had that when I was in my 20s. But then I think to myself, has that been maybe substance abuse? Has that not abuse, but has that maybe been partying? Has it maybe been some form of, has someone fucked with your body somewhere down the line in your 20s that's then...
I think you've got to look at the fucking dangers of what's in the food supply rather than
100%, bro.
Billy's fucking dodgy gear 3 for $100 that you were getting.
Way back in the day, 3 for $100.
Oxys.
That was the ones.
Test and Deco was the ultimate stack in them all. Like.
No, he's on about when you used to get three
for $100 in your snaff.
Oh, right, fucking right, okay, a half Q for a fucking £100.
That was it.
Totally.
So it's like that's what I'm saying. Like you've got to look at some of the stuff that's in the food supplies, the chemicals,
totally, bro.
You know, it's
processed food and the canola,
wild amount of stuff.
There is nothing healthy hardly in supermarkets at all now. Like,
well, see, when there's a health food aisle, you've got to wonder what the other 90% aisles are.
Aye. And the thing is,
you know what I mean?
and that's it. The junk food tastes so good.
So if this is health food, what's all the rest of this?
It's insanity. Like even that protein shake you drank earlier on, I was looking at the back.
Shit, lad.
And even that milkshake that I was comparing them, right? And I was like, this is fucking garbage.
That
like,
was actually just because I'd fucking.
Aye, but you didn't even need to justify it, but.
No, but Ken, if it wasn't for finishing the work running here, I meant to have my fucking meal before I left the house.
Aye.
And I fucking put it in the microwave and then I fucking left.
Aye.
So I'm like, for fuck's sake. So I just needed the protein count, so the rest of it is what it is, you know what I mean?
Totally, bro.
I know what it's like. I mean, you'll know yourself if you've done a hardcore diet and you go and eat something that you would have ate before, but you've not been on it for that long, and you take it and you just feel absolutely awful.
Fucking horrific, bro.
Fucking right.
We were talking about that. You feel horrific. Like sugar is like sugar in general is not terrible for you, but too much sugar is certainly bad for you. I mean, if you think about like just all the additives.
I think the average nowadays is we're 125 times over the sugar daily allowance we're meant to fucking have as humans.
No, I don't know if this is accurate, so I'm not just going to throw it there and everybody's
just fucking throw it.
Shit, right? But apparently,
this is complete opinion.
Apparently,
we're not that fussed on facts.
Fact checkers.
Right, totally.
Fuck them.
Apparently,
fucking feed them something, man.
1960, right? 1960, bro. Right. Apparently, as little as 1960. I can remember putting rhubarb and like a wee bag of sugar.
How old are you?
No, but I wasn't born in the 60s. 8 to 6. But you get what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean,
that's what the treat was, right? Our mum and there was no essentially. No body shaming anybody. There was no essentially fat people or clinically obese people back in the 60s,
fat
70s.
Cunts.
There maybe been one or two, right? But obviously, because it was all to do with their diet, right? Simple as that. And apparently, 1960, right, that the average human being consumed in the Western world, anyway, right? The average human being consumed anything between 6 and 16 gram of sugar. Wait for this, a year. A year, mate. A year. 6 to 16 grams a year. 1960, but it's not that long ago. A year. That on average. A year. We're consuming easy.
Most people are on over 100 grams of sugar a day now.
Aye, well over, bud. Yeah. Well over. How much is in that tin of Red Bull that I bought? No, I'm not even bad for sugar.
I do believe there is roughly 24 or 25 teaspoons of sugar
in a Red Bull.
In a can.
That's insanity.
Or was that a Lucozade Sport?
Fucking wild there.
That's insanity. And bud, I'm not even bad for sugar.
So 11 grams per 100. So that's going to be 22 plus 6, give or take. So you're going to be 28 grams of sugar.
So right, 28. How many teaspoons?
It's going to be like 5.5.
And 28 grams.
28 teaspoons, fucking
5.
Ah, easy.
No, 7 teaspoons of sugar.
7.
That's not that bad.
No, you think it's not that bad, but it's fucking...
Yeah, but bear in mind, how many do average people drink a day?
That's my point.
So Nathan has a can of Red Bull.
So that's my point. My point isn't... My point isn't...
And the irony is you go sugar-free, and then you look at the aspartame and you go... I'm going to get rid of the sugar. Let me take all the chemical sweeteners.
Let me take the chemical sweeteners that your body hasn't a fucking clue what it's doing with, by the way. At least the sugar can turn to glucose, and then it can actually... You can use it as a fuel. Whereas aspartame and that's fucking...
A small bottle of Lucozade is 15 teaspoons.
Right, so what they're sending out now, bud, right? If the average human, right, and as late as the 60s, right, was consuming anything between 6 and 16 grams a year, not a day, a year, right? Now, you're saying a person that's good with sugar, so I didn't eat a lot of sugar, but then I was going to drink that Red Bull potentially, right? Maybe I was going to drink it. I might, you still maybe will. But then it's like, right, okay, tin of Red Bull. But I'm not going home and binging on chocolate or shit. I genuinely eat, like Mikey says, I'm big on like sort of carnivore sort of style diet. Like eggs, beef, etc. Mm-hmm. So I'm no bad for sugar, but I'm still today probably with my blueberries, a Red Bull, maybe that milkshake, might consume 100 grams, say, potentially. There's folk that's consuming X amount of that. So say for us, we'll just go on average, 120 gram. Work out 120 gram, times it by 7.
I've got, so at the moment...
And then times it by how many weeks there is in a year.
At the moment, the average daily intake of men in the UK is 55.5 grams of sugar a day.
Average?
Average.
Right, okay.
Women are 44 grams a day.
So put 55 grams.
Wait,
I think it's a lot more than that, like.
Right, 55.
So just say 55 times 7. And then
times 52.
Times that by 52 weeks in the year. Many grams we've got. So it must be 30 odd thousand.
20,020 grams of sugar a year.
Right.
On the UK average right now.
That's fucking loads. No wonder we've got
so what's that? 2 kilos. 20,000 grams. Was that 20 kilos?
20 kilos.
20 kilos of sugar. That's a lot.
Because I was reading a study about quick.
Because what's a bag of sugar? A kilo, innit?
Aye. 20
of them.
Because that's what I'm saying, it's a lot there. Because I was reading a study about
I think it is more than that.
Seeing like the 60s.
Doesn't seem that much.
Maybe the 1800s to the early 1900s, you're talking about quick death, pneumonia, bronchitis, maybe an STI if you caught that, because there wasn't protective measures in sex and stuff, but it was quick death. Men, the average age, late 20s, 30s would die quick death, bronchitis, pneumonia, etc., etc. I'm no big on modern day medicine, but it still holds its place with regards to antibiotics, etc., etc. But it was quick death that folk were dying of. Folk aren't focusing about life expectancy's gone up. That argument's null and void. It's preposterous, it's shit. It's no, the life expectancy is no increasing because, it is because of things like antibiotics, etc., that life expectancy is increasing because we're more unhealthy now than we were back then. Our sanitary and our cleanliness has went up. Of course it has, because
but nowadays they're not trying to kill us; they're just trying to make us sick.
But this is what I'm getting at, bud. They're trying to kill us. It's slow death.
Yeah.
But they try to keep us. They try to keep us alive so they can profit for us pharmaceutically.
Yes.
That's what they're trying to do. So that's why things like
there's
diabetes,
there's no money in healthy people. There's no money in dead people. There's only money in sick people.
Of course there is. So keep them sick. Diabetes is attributed to diet related. Cancer, 9 times out of 10 is attributed. You get an anomaly. Obviously, God forbid, a child gets leukemia or something like that. By that, majority of people are getting cancer now because of their diet. Fact.
Yeah, fact.
Fact. That's diet related. I know that if I've ate shite, that my IBS is going to kick in. I'm going to get a migraine. I'm going to feel shite. Whereas if I eat good and I eat clean and I'm structured, look at the fucking you, bud. Like, all joking aside, we were just talking about that. I never ever looked at you ever and thought, you're a fat cunt. I never ever looked at you.
I did too.
I did.
You know what I mean? But I never ever attributed you because you carried it well. But now looking back at photos of you,
carry it well. I carried it well with clothes on.
Well, maybe, bud, because you wore big hoodies.
Covered it well, didn't carry it well.
But you're always but even now, like, it says that everybody says 6 weeks it'll take, obviously, to get started or whatever. 6 weeks it'll take for you to notice, and it takes for people to notice, whatever it is. But that is, everybody knew, as messaging me saying, fucking Big Mike's looking class. I'm like, well, just message Big Mike and say that then. Ken, my missus saying it is that you genuinely, I'm actually really proud of you, bud. Really proud of you.
You should be. So should everybody.
Because you're,
fucking...
You have done really well, bud, and I'm actually really proud of you because
I sent him motivational. Actually, I screenshotted it before.
Just because you're a big fat bastard.
This is pre-smack and this is post-smack.
Because it's true, bud, and you've done really well, Blair. And I ken you didn't take compliments well and all that shit, but.
He doesn't fucking deserve them till he's big again. He's fucking tiny. He's actually tiny. I said this because I met Mikey when he was fucking massive. Well, thanks, and I'd said to Mikey...
Well, honestly, see this kind of a few years ago, he got shredded too. He got peeled to the fucking bone.
And the missus was like, I preferred you when you were big. For fuck's sake. I'm like, what? You tell me now?
I like being big, but I get a fat puss, bud. I like having a sort of... I hate having a big double chin. And I can't... But with my work, I need to. This is about the most I can grow a tash, but
yeah, but you don't ever really have a double chin. You've got a jawline like mine. See people that have a high kind this whatever this organ muscle bit is. When you've got a high one, cunts are fine. But see when it's just here, you know, Ken. I've got fucking near enough a fucking completely peeled. Ken, I can still get a fucking. It doesn't matter what I do. I'm never gonna have this high cut.
Right.
Because of what was it, my gullet? You know what I mean? Or my fucking throat muscles.
The fucking stork, that's what it is. Collect a fucking fish and a baby.
But you do look so much healthier, bud.
Fucking right.
But you didn't look...
I was 26.5 stone, I was ready for a fucking heart attack.
But you didn't actually look unhealthy when I came in and you didn't actually look unhealthy.
But you might just not been paying attention to it.
No,
See, when you look at
attention, bud. If you
look at that photo, there's nothing.
You look fucking horrendous. I would have said to you, bud, you're looking horrendous.
I looked fucking clinic. They were ready to film a fucking documentary, lad. Well,
I honestly was like this because Mikey to me looks like he's fucking coming off a heroin addiction at the minute. I'm like, mate, you need to get some size on. And I'm like, what?
The refeed's coming.
When
you'd be
the
fucking
fuck
patient.
are you going to get size? Everybody's like, Big Mikey. I'm like, Big Mikey, fuck all. I met Big Mikey when Mikey was big. This guy is a fucking... This guy should be...
I met Geo, I was trialling T600.
How did you use to me? That's what I want to
Our birds are related.
All right, okay.
So he came in and like, a Big Mikey's coming round and he's a tattoo artist. Like, I sound. And he came in and I was just like, you know when you get a movie scene that fucking ducks under the door frame. And he was like, he had proper fucking massive, and I'm like, I've been around big guys before Robbie. I was like, what the fuck is this?
He's a freak, like.
Because you see tall guys and you see muscly guys and you see tall guys that have got a bit of muscle, but you never see like the muscle of a fucking really muscly dude on a really tall guy. And I'm like, what in the name of fuck is this?
To look at, he's actually a really intimidating character. But then when you get to know the man personally, he would give you a fucking clout, but he's such a gentleman and he's just a softie.
I just came in with questions. I'm like, I've got questions that need to be answered here. The intimidation factors are you sit down and you need fucking answers some questions here. What the fuck has took place here? How are you so fucking big? Because your mom's not that big.
No, my mom's only 5'2", lad, or 5'3", or 5'1".
That's my point. So
some folk just get fucking lucky in the genetic pool, lad. Because my dad's not even this fucking big.
There's luck, and it's like fucking you've been contaminated with the ooze for fucking Ninja Turtles.
There's every chance. There might have been a fucking radiation leak in the hospital or something when I was born. Who fucking knows?
The myostatin inhibitor, I think, is what Mikey must have, because like Flex Wheeler has got this where there was guys that were training. The guy I trained with was talking about when he met Flex and he's looking at him, and Delta's a fucking giant. Right. And I mean, 20.
How does he picture this dude? I've always heard, but I've never seen.
Mikey, I was doing bench press, and he looks like I'm the toddler.
Oh,
he's got 23-inch arms.
Like,
does he carry a bit of weight, or is he pretty lean? He's older now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's older. He's 60 and still fucking gigantic. I wouldn't say he's like sort of ultra lean, but he's not
fat either.
He's not fat. He's like just a big muscly dude.
Got a comfy layer on him.
And I was like, fucking.
Because I do love lifting weights as well. Like I say that to you. That's why my first sort of love was lifting weights. I love the pump. I love the feeling. I used to love fucking watching Schwarzenegger pumping iron. Yeah. I used to love watching.
The morning on the bike like that. It was fucking
one of my favourite scenes is Predator. Carol Weathers and Schwarzenegger came in the fucking Dylan, you son of a bitch, and their guns are like that. Like that's fucking manly. I love that shit.
Losing macho.
I love that. I just got me.
But this is the difference. Can we grew up with these men, and now these fuckers are growing up with Sam Smith and fucking lingerie.
Totally.
Fucking role models that.
They're no like
we've got Arne, Stallone, Dolph Lundgren,
Dolph,
fucking even Van Damme. You know what I mean? He wasn't the biggest, but he was still fucking peeled.
He was still fucking
Bruce Lee,
good shit.
Fucking Bolo Young. We were talking about.
We were talking
just
about Bolo,
fucking monsters
with the big fucking
men,
pecs. So this is macho shit.
See when you watch back Rocky 4, right? And then Rocky obviously, and it's cheesy and all that shit, but then Rocky goes to the Soviet Union and he's away and he's fucking up the mountains and Hearts on Fire's pumping and that and their training montage. He's fucking
high tech gym and that.
He's in the high tech gym getting Royce blasting his leg and he's fucking, and Drago's a machine and Rocky's up there in the fucking mountains fucking chopping logs. Like, see when you actually want to get motivated to train, fucking watch that montage.
Oh, you watch Rocky 4 and tell me you're not going to the gym after
100%.
You're going.
But that's your generation.
But we were talking about, I mean, like our generation was you would literally get a fucking fight about who was who.
Aye.
And you were getting a pedigree at some point. Somebody was getting fucking pedigreed on the laminate floor because, I picked him and you're not being him. That was before fucking like Instagram. No, you're getting a fucking tombstone here.
Me and my, sorry to interrupt you, right? But the reason I'm saying that because I'll lose my chain of thought. Me and my neighbour Campbell, like you say, is a pedigree. Me and my neighbour Campbell, one of my really good friends, right? Me and my neighbour Campbell had a first blood match. Like, we actually had a first blood match when we were like 12, 13, right? Who can make each other bleed first? Because we watched the wrestling that much. So we're actually hitting each other and having a first blood match. Like, beards nowadays would fucking greet of the skin their knee, man. Aye. It's like it's just a different.
It's a different time.
You see, like my boy George, he's 11 and he's getting into that hardcore kind of working out. And you can see the kids like he's like leading the way, and they're wanting to get into that edgy, rough kind of pushing. And I'm like, this is fucking good. Right. This is what we're going to nurture because you know what it was like. They're in, they want to lift weights, they want to eat clean, 100%. They want to keep smashing it, they want to get down the gym, and they're like, tensing the muscles. And I'm like, this is what it's about. This is what being a boy.
You're 11. And if it starts at but
that's what we were talking about. So I was just like,
I didn't start lifting weights till I was about maybe 20.
So I said to him the other day, I was like, he's going to be massive when he's
20.
18.
If he's 11-year-old, he's going to be a fucking unit.
I know. I mean, like he's fortunate that he's got the local gym. We've got a wee gym in the house. We snuck him in the gym with Big Dell, he was a pro bodybuilder. Right. So imagine what it's like, 11-year-old, this fucking gigantic man mountain, just taking the time, showing you the moves, watching you pose, telling you all these wee tips at 11. Then he's gone back and he's helping his pals. We were on holiday. We were on holiday there, and Ted is 8. He's my youngest son. And we were on holiday, and he's like, it's things like, he's like, Dad, do you want to go down the gym, Robbie? I'm like, oh, fuck.
Aye.
George, I train all the time. I'm like, right, look.
What age are you?
Step up, 39.
You're 39. That's you're a year older than me then, mate.
So I'm like, look, I'll hit I'll go down.
You said you were fucking 39 earlier.
No, I said I'm turning 39.
You said you were turning 40.
No, I said I was.
But I'll not be 39 first.
No, I'm not turning 40, but no, I said I'm nearly 40. I'm not turning 40. No, I'm nearly 40.
So we went down.
I'm nearly 40-year-old. I'm closer to 40 than I'm 30.
So you're 38 now?
I'm 38 now. Aye.
I went down the gym with him and started training. And then as soon as I was there, got in the groove, well, Ted wanted to come down because it was the second night we were down. So he's seen George. I went down, and then it was like, right, okay, we'll go down the second night. Ted's like, can I come down? Now, George is now, like, I'm showing George what to do.
Aye.
George is then showing Ted what to do.
Aye.
And then that's that, just like you talk about that bond, that
camaraderie,
male kind of bond, that's just energy.
And
I'm like, this is what, I could have just went, no, I can't be bothered, and look what we'd have missed.
But
and it's that wee thing where you do it. And how much, like, it's so important that boys need so little encouragement, just a sprinkle of attention, a sprinkle of encouragement, and it magical happen. And it's just like that thing where they're going, I'm not going to pick up the iPad, I'm not going to pick up the phone, I'm not going to watch YouTube. like the YouTube feed now is just fucking bodybuilding and gains, and he's in digging around the cut. He's like, Dad, and he's at that age where it's like, right, he doesn't understand that the rest of the world has something to do. When he needs something done, he's 2 inches off your nose. He's like, Dad, where's the protein? I need protein. And he's fucking buried in the cupboard. I'm like, right, we'll get this one out, we'll get that one out.
That is to hear though, Brad. Like, that's testament to yourself as a parent, one.
And the flame.
And it's just so refreshing to hear, because the majority burns that age now. Like you say,
I don't know another 11-year-old that's fucking.
And we're all culprit of being victim of that, right? So do you know what's so refreshing about this as well, is no being fucking stuck on that. I mean, you might go and checking it, and it serves its purpose for things like business, and it's basically fucking an encyclopedia in your hand. But it's when people take the easy route. We were talking about that. Like, it's so refreshing to hear that your boys like that, mate, because like iPads and iPhones and all that, they serve their purpose, but even for like, just like, the bairns nowadays are so detached from reality, but like, bairns like sometimes don't even raise their head because they've got headphones in and they're looking at their iPad. No, I'm not saying my wee boy never gets a bit of the telly or that, and I'm not saying we're going on a 4-hour flight away to Tenerife in a couple of weeks. I'm not going to say that he's never going to get daddy's phone just to watch the Ghostbusters, because there's only so long that he can read books. And
it's not to say it's a bad thing, because the thing is that there's times where they're absolutely ideal, but it's like anything that you need to temper it, where you go, 100%. This isn't the only thing.
In moderation.
But majority of parents nowadays, we used to be bored, but majority of parents nowadays are saying the fucking easy route is, and I get it, you want to eat your dinner, okay, no bother. But as you're on a plane, okay, no bother. But parents nowadays are just going, Dad, I want my iPad, right, there you go. And it just, because it gives me an easy life, and it's like you're just crippling them for life. You're just and what they're watching is shit.
What they're watching affects their behaviour.
Things that are substance, bodybuilding, health, like nutrition, improving yourself. Even at 11-year-old, mate, they're gonna flourish in it.
And you notice it because we were doing the Mindset climb, and we had George and Ted there. And then these pals
Ted's
have seen.
Fucking mountain goat.
Oh, he is like this boy was.
Doesn't take a fucking break. Just goes. I was the first to the top.
Ted,
fucking
8-year-old. Ted's 8. He's my youngest.
Oh, so how many? Sorry,
I've got three boys.
Three boys.
I've got 3 boys. And my one is grown up.
Children then, so
21, 11, and 8.
Fucking hell, mate.
So my oldest is up. He's flew the coop. Got 2 that live with me. So they're George and Ted. Blake, he's doing his own thing, and figuring out how the world is as a young man.
Of course.
George and Ted, Ted's sort of starting to see and follow the lead. Like, he wasn't that interested to begin with, but now as George is sort of like training, Ted's like, he came in one day and I knew that it was changing, because he said, he's like, he's starting to flex. He's like that. He's like, Dad, have I got muscles yet? And we're like, whoa, I'm like, you've been lifting weights? And he's like, you can see the glow in his face.
He's loving it.
I'm like, look, he's like, I says, you've got a bicep. He's like, I can feel it. I'm like, go on, wee man. And you can see him and he's all chuffed. And then he's going back down to the gym and he's just blasting his arms. But I'm like, that is what it's about.
It's brilliant, bud.
And then you see, what the thing being is, when we went to the Mount Mindset climb, the next one we went, like the pals are like, can we come? I'm like, I jump in the van, we'll take you. And it's the spread. It starts somewhere and it spreads out. Now, I seen it with George's, the first. That was spreading to Ted. Now it's spreading to the pals, and it goes out and out, and it's that ripple effect.
But that's what we need, though. But in a day and age that we're in, though, 9 times out of 10, folk would call that toxic masculinity. What the fuck is toxic masculinity? What? Because we're training, trying to better each other. They literally, the powers that be literally want men weak. They want men weak, not being able to look after their family, not being able to provide for their family, and they want us feeble. They didn't want strong men. They didn't want individuals like us talking like that. They didn't want, because you're physically imposing men. And I'm not as physically as imposing as I'm, but I can look after myself. You know what I mean? Like, we're men. And we're all fucked up.
It's that time when you talk about, like, you know, hard times make strong men, strong men make good times.
Correct.
Good times make weak men.
100%.
Weak, bad times make strong men.
100%.
So what time are we in? We're in the time that they want to create weak men because they want to make bad times.
Of course they do.
So bad men don't like they are.
They'll not rebel.
They don't want that. Dangerous. And you know who
so
who is most inspired by strong men? Other men, boys.
Correct.
Boys go. They don't know, but like you said, they know that energy is good. They know that's what they're supposed to be.
I mean, I could literally walk.
Did you see what the British government are trying to pass through? But anybody who likes or supports or follows Andrew Tate will be a terrorist.
I heard that.
Yeah, fucking wild, huh?
Bloody shite.
Mental, huh? Fucking terrorist.
That's what I'm getting at.
This is the thing with governments, is the governments, like, they would do well to look at history at the times where governments become more and more authoritarian and bring in more and more rules.
Yeah.
That's a sign of the government starting to disappear.
Yeah.
It's going to collapse. The Roman Empire was the same, and you go, look, whoever, like, you guys need to go and examine this, because every time that this has been done, it's failed. Soviet Union were the same. All dictatorships fail with this authoritarian rule.
100%, mate, because it's not sustainable. Because it was the same in the vaccine shit, mate. Like that's all that pissed me off, was just somebody telling me, like, because I read. Well, you know all about it, mate, and so does Mikey. It was multiple conversations. I've even heard you talk about it, but. See, in 2017, right, my sister's a really, really clever girl, right? She is genuinely really clever, right? And she gave me a book in 2017. It was called The Future of Modern Day Medicine, right? They were talking about mRNA technology and how it could obviously be the future of medicine, and it could combat HIV and cancers and stuff like that. And so I read this book well prior to the pandemic, and I read this book. And it was talking about Moderna, actually, at the time, before I even knew who Moderna and Pfizer was and all this type of stuff. It was talking about Moderna, and it was basically saying that they were trialling this drug that was going to act as a catalyst to combat these diseases. And I thought, this is interesting. But what was happening was they were finding that when they were trialling it on rats, etc., the rats were suffering from cardiac.
They just fucking died.
Aye. And the equivalents of what would be known as clotting to a human being. And they were finding that, and that was 2017 I read this book. And I was like, right, okay. I was like, right, neighbour. And theoretically, you were going to have to take it like insulin. You were going to have to take this shot every day to keep these levels topped up. So it's quite hard to get human beings to adhere to taking a shot of something every day.
I found it quite easy, mate.
Right, aye. Well, if it's testosterone or T400, then it's different, it's fine. But that makes you massive and look good, though. But that was so it's quite hard to. So basically, I personally think we were just a human trial. We were just the rats. I think we were the guinea pigs. And then I think it was just a pure compliance test. Who's stupid enough to go down? And I've got friends, I've got people that are educated that went and got that. And I was like, I'm no fucking getting that. I'm just no get. One, the first reason was because I'd had COVID, so it's not going to, and I didn't die for it. So it's not going to stop me.
Did you have COVID, or did you just?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I just had a bad cold. I don't know. I had the flu. I don't know. But I was no wheel, and I was like, well, I'm not going to get a vaccine for something that's going to prevent me for getting the cold. Essentially, that when I'm fine for it, I've just survived it. No, that's no disrespect to anybody who's maybe parents or loved ones or that did die of the disease itself. But I wasn't taking that shit. And what really didn't sit well with me is my dad's got deep vein thrombosis, so he's on warfarin. And it's a bit like a POWER, point of work risk assessment, or a generic risk assessment, all right? Generic is obviously generic risk assessment for this room, and then when we come in, we do a point of work risk assessment. What could harm us on the day? Like, is there any tripping hazards, etc., etc.? So it was a bit like a point of work risk assessment. So they sent out this generic blue letter to everybody, not knowing their medical backgrounds, not knowing anything that was wrong with them, and my dad is prone to blood clots. All right, he's prone to it. And they just sent him out to go down to East End Park, of all fucking places, a football ground, to get jagged off some fucking random, not even a medical professional, to get jagged in, and it would have killed him. For by if it took an adverse side effect or whatever it may be, it would have killed my dad. But he would have went, because he's nearly 70-year-old and he was none the fucking wiser and just trust everything they bastards say to him on the mainstream media. And he never went and got it, and I'm so glad he never went now. And I was like, that's fucking genocide. And folks say, well, you're mental, Bob, saying that's genocide. Because genocide's genocide and it's terrible. Human beings, act of genocide is inhumane. But that is controlled genocide. To just send a generic letter out to somebody and say, go and get that, and 9 times out of 10, the elderly would go and get it because they're none the wiser. To go down there, get that, and then potentially an adverse side effect to kill them later on, and if they've got a pre-existing medical condition prior to that, is fucking barbaric, bud. That's why I didn't accept it. That's why I'm like, that's why it pisses me right off. That's why I didn't wear masks, that's why I didn't get vaccinated, and that's why I'm total like, fuck you to them. 100%, brother. And I'll say that, because I got ridiculed, I got called selfish, I got called a prick, I got called, I'm a...
And this was just a breakfast.
Super spreader, get what I mean? Fuck yous. Where's my apology? That's what I said, where's my apology?
Yeah, we covered that too.
So I've never met anybody that regrets no getting it. I've never met anybody that regrets no getting it. I've met 100 cunts regretting getting it.
I mean, the people don't realise, I mean, again, I'm a data guy, so when I look at what's going on, why is Moderna a company that burned through 9 years of its listing and filing accounts and never made money, burnt through hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds or dollars, didn't turn a profit? Its animal trials on ferrets in the upper respiratory system caused the ferrets to die.
Aye.
And it never got past human trials. And then they were the poster boy to come and pump this into everyone.
Aye.
That struck me strange. The next thing that struck me strange is the
office. It just shows your intellect, mate. It just shows that you've got a bit of common sense.
Well, I mean, here's one of the things. I mean, you look at even the basic time period or timeline for a vaccine is a 10-year period. It's got, lab trials, and it's got animal trials, and it's got human study, double-blind trials, and then it gets presented to the market. It's a 10-year period because what they need to do is they need to monitor the patients that were in the human trial for a number of time, usually around a 5-year period, where it might not affect them instantly, but it would affect them year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. And they're like, Operation Warp Speed. You go, well, look, you've either created this well before
and you know
it's at market, or you're complete. It's a complete botched job. And then you look at the patent data. The patent data told you that this particular technology existed in 2016. So you go, this isn't something that's new.
That book in 2017.
And you go, well, this isn't new. And you go, well, where does the porcupines end? And then during the pandemic, in 2020, the worst pandemic the world should have ever seen, there's make the number 500,000 in the UK, 500,000 people, that'll be their last year they die. The Office of National Statistics, literally for a 10-year period, every year, year on year, was give or take the same number. During the worst pandemic, you would expect that to be parabolic.
Aye, skyrocket.
With the number of deaths that happened in the United Kingdom was 10% lower than it was the previous 10 years. So the worst pandemic, death rates drop, but yet you're seeing the Nightingale hospitals all empty. You're seeing this big media push. You're seeing this lockstep from governments worldwide. Totally, and you go, I smell shite from the high heavens.
100%. And then they're portraying someone on the mainstream media as well, and they're telling you to abide with stuff. And it used to piss me off as well, Joe. You'd walk into some place and folk would go, "You got a mask," and there'd be 2 guys sitting drinking a beer right next to you, and you were like, hold on a second here, mate. I have to put a mask on to order a drink when there's 2 individuals not with a mask on, standing next to me.
Yep, you're fucking right. That's what you have to do.
But you have to do that.
I'm trying to get on board with that.
Robbie, you've got a fucking vaccine that knew how many people you were in your group, what tier you were in, what postcode you were in, what council area you were in, whether it was before or after 6 o'clock, if your neighbours were in.
I know.
Right, it was probably one of the most intelligent viruses ever existed.
Aye.
And you know what happened? When it was really getting hilarious, and the people were still going along with this. It's like, right, we think it's Monday and we're calling a press conference, and we think that we're going to need to go in to a further stricter lockdown, tier 3 on Friday. You go, right, so it's a massive fucking emergency that's emerged.
They can wait till Friday.
And we know now that they deleted their WhatsApp messages. 5,000 messages were deleted, group chats. We need to scare them. And somebody's going to the Greek fucking alphabet, like, let's make fucking Delta variant.
Does that not scare you? But that's what I mean. Going back to when I was feeling a wee bit, because I'm actually feeling lightened just with this conversation, just maybe getting stuff off my chest as well, by the way. But does that not, that's what I was getting about, that how humans annoy me. Because not everybody's going to have the same intellect. Ultimately, there's people that's far more intellectual than me in business and academically, whatever it may be, right? But I'm no silly and I'm no stupid. But does it no scare you how much people could be, I get it, if people can be hoodwinked. I get that, right? But is it not scary how unintelligent humans can be to go, like, to just believe that, like, see the fact that they were giving it to pregnant women, because Rio was pregnant with Shiloh when she got a whooping cough vaccine or whatever, right? My bear's not even had one vaccine, bud. He's not had nae vaccines. He's had none.
He's had the whooping cough.
Right, he had that with Rio, because pregnant hormone had the whooping cough, right? And then when he was born, he's not had one vaccine, bruh. He's not had one. And we actually said, well, I was looking at the data for polio, tetanus, diphtheria, right? And the side effects for that isn't too bad. Now, tetanus isn't really prevalent in the UK anymore, right? Neither is diphtheria. However, it's still there, right? And if he does get it, contract it, it's quite... Now, they used to get They used to get the 3-in-1 jags, kids. Now they're pretty much getting pumped about 16 vaccines in them by the time they're 2, right? Which is total preposterous, right? And what they're saying is, you're looking at a vaccine like the meningitis. If a kid contracts meningitis, it could be fatal, right? Nobody's disputing that. But in the UK now, I think it's 1 in 10,000. No, it might be more than that. I think it's. I'm not just going to throw numbers out there, but it's high number. It's one. I think it's 1 in 10,000 kids, and I think there was one case in London of a child contracting meningitis B. I think it was.
It's 1 in 10,000. That's quite a high number. Across 66 million.
So but no, I think it's less than that. I think it's. I don't think. Go and actually Google it. How many? Because I didn't care. I didn't just throw numbers out there, right? However, there was more chance of my son contracting an adverse side effect from the vaccine from meningitis than actually contracting meningitis himself. So I just done basic arithmetic and thought, well, if there's more chance of him actually getting things like Kawasaki disease or something that's detrimental to his organs or to him, then there is medication. If he does contract meningitis, it could 9 times out of 10 preserve his life. So why am I risking?
Why take that risk?
Why am I taking that risk? Because
so out of 1,000 births, 0.1 will get it, and it's a 90% survival rate.
Right. So I knew it was. So it's a 90% survival rate and 0.1 out of 1,000.
There's only between 400 and 1,200 cases per year.
Right, so there's not a lot. There's not a lot.
It's a very low percentage.
Very low.
However, my son could contract. I'm sure it's like 1 in 1,000 or like of these adverse side effects from a meningitis vaccine.
It's what the deal with the devil was that the adverse reactions in the UK, it's called the yellow card reporting system run by MHRA. And the idea would be that if you had an adverse reaction, you would report it to your GP. You would be reporting the yellow card system. That system, they reckon, is under-reported by 99%. Right, so it's a significant amount more, but even at that...
They tried to do away with it during the COVID as well. They tried to do away with it altogether. It wasn't irrelevant.
Well,
so
the number of adverse reactions of the COVID vaccine is 1 in 37.
Right, which is a lot.
So, if anybody had taken any other product to market and had anywhere near that kind of result, they would have ripped that off the market quicker, and they've said bout a goose. Right. And even the blanket immunity bit with the governments, we go, right, let me get this right. You are giving them free pass to literally no liability for this thing that you're creating. And you go, that doesn't make sense. And if you really want to get into the weeds, because the next stage is that, as you go, right, if you're not answering to the people, and there's regulatory capture in terms of the regulators aren't regulating the people that they're supposed to regulate, then how is this being allowed? Because the government should be then stepping in.
Of course.
But if the government are answering not to the people who are essentially at the mercy of this, then who are they answering to? And then you go, well, they all seem to be buddied up with this sort of cabinet capture. The cabinet captures the World Economic Forum. You go, well, I mean, the World Economic Forum surely couldn't have anything wrong. I mean, they seem plausible. They're in Switzerland. They're a neutral organisation. They talk in lofty terms. They like to wear like weird costumes, and they like to meet in Basel. What's the problem with that? And then so you maybe pull up some of their literature, because obviously if you're elected official who's acting on your behalf that you've given authority to under the constitutional monarchy, under the guise that you might have a vote and you might have a say, and that you might be under the impression it's a democracy. But this event seems to have taken place that they all seem to be in lockstep, and it seems to be at odds with what you think is going on. Then you might want to consider who it is that they're answering to. And then if you look past their lofty chat about benign sounding words, and then you look at, say, their PDF of what they want by 2030, and you look at, well, here seems to be things like they're saying, like, we will use population control via vaccination. What does that mean? Because that doesn't sound too scary. So you're saying, look, you want to control the population. That's called sterilising. or genocide.
Aye.
If you to control the population, you either make people sterile so they can't reproduce, or you kill people off. Right, that's the two ways that you control population. Like if it was overpopulated, you would reduce the amount of ability to populate, sterilization. And if it was overpopulated and you want to go full Kaiser Soze mode, you would reduce the population, and you would want to do that via something that would cause them an untimely and early death.
Aye.
And then you look at, well, if you want total totalitarian technocratic control, you might want to have some sort of technology base to make that happen. Well, what would you need? You would need people to believe that they would need to have some sort of digital membership or pass. You would need to include them into an idea that they would need it. You would need to create an environment that they would accept it, and then you would need some sort of monitoring system to do it. That sounds a lot like digital ID. Digital ID, how's that connected to? And you go, digital ID, you look at smart meters, you look at carbon tax, low traffic neighbourhoods, you look at the ULEZ zone, you look at charging net zero, which is a complete garbage. Anyone that's looked at climate change that used to be called global warming, they had to change.
For driving through Glasgow now. Like,
it's like, what? Okay, right. So you want to.
So it's restricted movement, restricted speech.
Yeah.
Like even to the point where I came on this podcast today, I'm
Robbie,
like,
how are they going to clean the fucking air?
Aye.
Like, so let me get this right. I'm driving through and making the air dirty. I give you 12 quid. How, like there's the 12 quid. How are you stopping the air moving out of the zone?
Exactly.
What are you going to do? Where is the filtration system you're cleaning it? What they want to do is have cameras everywhere to track all your movements, 100%. To then get you to track your digital identity that will be attached to a bank account, that's attached to your smart meter, that's attached to your fucking central bank digital currency. No due process, AI, wham, there you go.
They just want to see you at every move. And if folk heard us talking about this, which they do ultimately, some folk would think we're batshit crazy. They're like, oh, they're conspiracy theorists, they're batshit crazy. No,
we'll put all the PDFs, we'll put links to all the PDFs in the show notes. See if you want to go and have a look at this stuff. This isn't off like Mad Davey for Postles, Tin Hat fucking archive. This is from the World Economic Forum, the Mindspace programme, UK government website. Like it's, if you look, it's right there. And you know exactly what you said. How they have karmic retribution, which is how do they sleep at night with what they're doing. Their whole idea is if you're too fucking thick, we told you, we notified you. If you didn't do anything about it, that was you accepting it.
But do you know, I think that's like, but I always think about, what I do always think about is what is the end goal though? Like how much, control. But because they're going to end up in the same books I'm going to end up in, Mikey. Do you get what I mean? Like did they actually think they're going to live forever? Like how can they, if there is like an afterlife, or if there is karmatic debt, or if somebody believes in Christ, or somebody,
you're under the assumption that like
they've just no soul. They've just
you're under the assumption that this train started with them. This train started.
This is a multi-generational
This is
plan.
a generational plan.
I know, but then when does it break? Like when does the wheel break?
Well,
like when does it? Do you know what I mean? Like how can you sleep at night knowing that you're doing that to kids? How can you sleep at night knowing that you're doing that to the population? How can you morally? Because even if you're fucked up in the head, right? Like you know that.
Well, look at it this way: you've only been brought up in a shoebox. You only know the shoebox. That's all you've known. That's all you will ever know.
Aye.
Like
then like anything though, we can learn though. Like you say, if you had a shite background as a bear, I had a shite background as a bear, or Geo, right? Then like people, we said at the very start,
these people did not have shite backgrounds as kids.
That's my point though. So surely, even more so than they should. They've no head trauma. But so look, even more so, they should then
the people
should
that run
have
the
empathy
world
or sympathy for the working class. But if no, they just think. Fuck them.
Well, the thing being is they've been brought into an environment.
They're better than us.
But they're fucking no.
But they've been brought up with the ultimate silver spoon, generational wealth, generational control,
money,
just being institutionalized by the dad above, and then they're doing it, and then they're keeping the wealth, they're keeping the power, they're keeping the control, and that train just keeps rolling.
If you were born,
they don't give a fuck about you.
If you were born and your business was in the abattoir and your family run business, right, and for the day that you come out, your dad has slaughtered animals, and your dad's dad slaughtered animals, and your dad's dad slaughtered animals, you would be walking down as a young boy going, this is normal life. Right? So these people believe that we are cattle. We're expendable. They don't look at the world like you do. You're looking at a cow and going, you need to have empathy for this cow because I'm a cow.
And as I look at a cow and think fillet steak.
Right, so but I still feel empathy for it.
Do you?
I do actually.
Fuck off.
No, I do.
What is that?
I just feel, because it's...
The cow's purpose is
I'm
to
not
feed
disputing.
us.
I'm not getting to it. I'm not.
Our purpose is to feed them. We are the cattle. The cows are our. Do you get it?
I get it, but we're humans, eh?
Like, not to them.
Like, and but fuck them. Fuck them. That's what I say.
The cow or the...
But, no, the...
Never going to bestiality here.
No, he fucks cows. But I'm not giving a fuck about the elite.
Yeah, but you're humanising yourself.
But I'm talking like, I'll eat beef and that. Like, I don't know. I think...
I mean, I don't have any issue with, like, see if you take care of animals.
But I still feel... I still feel a bit, it's all cliche, but a vegan would say to you, I suppose. And I do think veganism is pushed on people. I do.
I started with that.
I'm the same.
I'll get some fucking data there.
I'm the same, but like, and I've got
some data that make a fucking vegan cook the bacon on.
Ask Gran Meat, right? And that's it. And I'm total, but I do see, and cows are bred for a purpose to feed us, and I get all that, right? I totally understand that. That's not what I'm getting at. But then at the same time, it's all cliche. I would feel bad killing a cow and then eating its carcass, but then that's a bit ignorant of me, the fact that I do eat it. Do you know what I mean by that? But then I still do eat it.
I know what you're describing. I don't think I'd have that feeling.
But then I didn't think I would actually have that feeling if I went out and hunted though.
Mm-hmm. Aye. Like for instance, say you were in a survival situation and you're starving, you're 4 days in, right, and your wee boy's fucking on death's door.
Someone's getting killed.
The cow's gone fucking bye-bye.
100%.
Like, your empathy tank is gone. You've only got empathy because you have a full belly and you're not like your empathy is a function of your comfort.
I agree with that.
When the comfort's gone, I'm afraid empathy's not a path because you're in survival mode. You're 100%. Like, right, it is kill or be killed, either
I'm not
die.
just agreeing to be agreeable. I totally see that.
And it's not to say, like, I believe in taking care of animals and taking good care of them, and not like, don't abuse them, treat them well, because they're going to be your food, and look after them, even just from an energetic point of view. That good energy, it's like, would you rather eat a tortured, maltreated animal, or would you rather eat something that was really well looked after, nurtured, proper husbandry, and you go, look, that's like this, that process is much better.
Of course.
And then not for the sake of just killing for the sake of killing, you go, look, this is a cycle of life. Like, whether you like it or not, that's a cycle of life.
But they're essentially wanting you to eat bugs now, bud. This is the powers that be.
How's killing, like, if death is death, how's death for a bug any different from a death of a cow?
They'll try and convince you that a Beyond Burger, a plant-based burger, food additives and shit is better for you than a coup. They're actually trying to convince folk of that. And you're like, are you mental? You're trying to tell me that a fillet steak is going to give me cancer, but your meat that's been processed in a lab and it's fueled...
They've lost their fucking mind.
They've lost their mind. Like, and folk are actually like, that's better for you. You're like, you're fucking insane. Right. Like, that's made in a lab. This is a coup. Like...
I've done some of this, like, see some of the, like, deep esoteric kind of looking into why these evil fuckers do this, right? And the deal seems to be, from what I can gather, is, right, your soul has a fucking price to pay for what you do here.
Aye.
Right? And whatever we answer to after it, like...
Do you believe in God, by the way?
I believe that there's something, and I don't know if I would believe of what we've been described as God.
Aye.
The popular description of God is not something that I believe is correct, but I believe that there's something.
Aye.
And I think that I've got a good idea of what that might be.
Because I used to be pure atheist, and I didn't believe in anything like that.
I'm not an atheist.
I used to be like, nah, it's load of shit and all that stuff. And see, more recently, like, I'm like, nah, like, everything can't just be like the people you meet, the connections you have, and like, ultimately, like, or is it inbred in you? But like, ultimately, like, if everything was just matter, then like, I could pretty much just like fucking put your pants down and butt fuck you. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
I'm not really getting that analogy, to be fair.
No, but you get what I mean? Like, there isn't a consequence, and like, there wouldn't be any. What am I trying to say? It's like,
what are you fucking trying to say?
I don't know. It's like, see, like, we know that obviously, pedophiles are evil bastards, right? That's because we've got a conscience and a soul. So that has to come from a creator to know that that's evil. Do you know what I mean by that? That's matter. That matter itself is evil. That's what we're talking about the elites, Ken.
Here's one that'll fucking...
Matter's evil. We know that. So there's got to be something in your conscious mind or in your soul. And that doesn't just come from us just being matter. That's from a conscience. So that conscience and matter can't just die. It has to go somewhere. So then I do then believe more plausible in like God or I don't know. I don't know, but there's like I'm thinking more along the lines now.
Do you think that there's a guy with a beard that appears in the clouds in the sky that made the earth in 6 days and took the 7th day off?
No,
I think that's bollocks.
No, I do believe that.
I do believe that there's, like, I think the description of God is consciousness. Consciousness created the universe and this electromagnetic fucking dimensional reality that we experience, and its whole purpose is to experience all things, all times, and all different possibilities, and we're acting that out. But consciousness needs to divide itself, so it has souls, and our soul comes into a body to have an experience.
But I've never been religious, because I think religion is one of the most corrupt things on the planet. Like, genuinely, like, I didn't badge anything as religion or anything. Whether if you're
great business model, if you're Muslim, really good business model.
If you're Muslim, if you're Christian, it doesn't matter. I'm no bash religion.
Good way to make money.
But like
healthy business model.
See when like I've started watching this program. It's called The Chosen, right? And it's basically about tells you about the disciples and about Jesus, right? And I was like, I've never been big on Jesus or anything like that. Never been big on Jesus or anything like that. And I've watched this program, Chosen. It's actually a really good. It's a show, and it's actually Mel Gibson and Jim Caviezel, who played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ, that directs it, and they're big on like border control and against child trafficking and all that. So I said, I'll watch this then. I'll give it a watch.
Is it a documentary or a movie?
No, it's like a 6-part series called The Chosen, and it's basically the life of Jesus, and it shows you him going against the synagogue. It totally portrays Jesus in a way that you would never see him portrayed, right? And it's totally portrayed in a way that you would never ever imagine this man portrayed. Jesus was a total rebel. He was against the synagogues. He was a man of the people. He ultimately, whether he was the son of God or no, who knows, right? But he ultimately believed in a cause so much that he was prepared to go get pinned on a cross and be crucified, right? For someone he believed in. So that man gained my respect. And in watching this show, it's not like some Bible, like, it's not cheesy. It shows you like, it basically depicts the chapters of like Matthew, Luke, John, Peter, like chapters of the Bible, his disciples, and shows you the betrayal of like the betrayal of Judas and all that stuff. And it shows you all that, but it's like set in a modern day, it's set in Jesus' time. But it shows you the conflict they had with the Romans, and the Romans actually didn't want to crucify him and all that. It's a great show, by the way. And it's done by Mirror Studios. It's done by the guys that done Sound of Freedom, but it's actually a really good show, and it depicts Jesus in a different light, to the point where you're like, he was actually a rebel and a total man of the people, and it's like, fucking hell, it just takes away all the airy-fairy religion aspect to it, and I think it made you actually think, fucking hell, like, you didn't have to be religious to like follow Christ's practices, and it made me even think about Jesus and all that.
Like, I mean, the good things you can take
away. It's really good.
You can take away the principles of like what is a good life, like what is like. You get people find God when they're lost.
Aye,
and you know what? Are they finding the guy with the beard in the clouds? No, they're finding a set of principles where somebody's saying, "Look, here's how to try and have the best, most sort of worthy experience here."
Someone a little bit of purpose,
and it's sort of that kind of hope that you can. Real hope that you can go, maybe I can do something.
Aye.
Because it's telling you the story in such a way that you go, I think, like, it casts a wide net that no matter what you feel, something's going to catch you, something's going to resonate with you, and it can take you in that sort of journey where you go, look, maybe there's more that I can do.
I just think there's so much evil in the world, Geo, that there's got to be a counter and opposite force.
Well, here's a question for you, because here, like, the Hermetic principles teach you about duality. So everything's got its duals, all contradictions can be squared, all half-truths can be rectified. So, like, here's the thing is, like, you know, we bang on about evil and these evil fuckers, they're there, right? And they are there.
Of course.
How would you know what's good if there's no evil?
Aye.
We would take it for granted.
I know.
How would you know what hot is if we don't have cold? How would you know what darkness is if we don't have light? You don't know these things unless you have a contrast.
Aye.
So to make sense of everything, you need an opposing force to contrast it with. You know, if everything was brilliant light, you wouldn't be able to see because it blinds you.
Aye.
Right? If you had total darkness, you wouldn't know because you couldn't see. So you need the contrast, and it's this contrast that makes our experience. So, like, if there wasn't rotten, evil, malevolent, vicious, awful, heinous people on the planet, we would take it all for granted.
Aye,
that's
true.
a human nature.
Aye.
And again, like this is what I mean about like when we were talking about the focus and thoughts is it's easy when you realise that a lot of this stuff's going on. What you tend to do is lock into it, and it can make you feel that you need retribution and this isn't right. And it's true, we do need to do a better job, and we all need to do a better job. But the thing being is, it's about sort of understanding that our experience, we need these contrasts.
Aye.
Because if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have any metrics.
It's like the freedom of speech thing. Like I'm big on, well, I'm not big, but I'll go on X now, Twitter a lot, because Elon Musk obviously promotes free speech, and obviously that can paint one narrative as well. But it's basically what I mean by like being able to make up my own mind is like you could put on again. You could watch whatever you want. So who's the mainstream media to tell me that I can, like, if I listen to something Andrew Tate says, right, that's wrong. Like, I'm a big boy, I can make my own mind up, right? If Elon Musk puts something on Twitter, right, about whatever it may be, we're not going to get into too much topics, right, and I already end up getting paid off, but yeah, if Elon Musk puts something on Twitter, and I'll look at that, I'm a big boy, I can make up my own mind, right? The mainstream media can portray what they want, and they can show what they want, right?
But they're dying. This is the thing. The clutches they're losing grip. So they take more and more extreme action as the grip's losing, because what it is when you feel like you're losing, you become desperate.
That's it.
And it's the signs of desperation.
So it's this guy's a misogynist, this guy's a rapist, this guy's a child trafficker, this guy's promoting hate speech, this guy's racist, this guy's that, and you're like, no, we're no. Yep. We're no. Yep. We've just got questions, and at the same time, we're just trying to promote no. And free speech is different to hate speech. Nobody says that you should be racist to somebody. Nobody says you should be hateful. Nobody says that you should be spiteful. Nobody says that you should be derogatory to somebody, or feminist or sexist, or nobody says that. That's hateful. You have to try and it's a bit airy-fairy, but you have to try and get on with each other and love each other, and it can be sound.
It's quite airy-fairy.
But it's a wee bit, it's
very airy-fairy.
But you have to try and be a good person, eh?
I get what you mean.
At the same time, you've got to be able to air your concerns or air your views, and the minute that gets taken after you, and they go, well, no, you are going to be deemed this if you don't agree with this.
Well, the whole thing that they've got is, if you've been using for years, they've been using mainstream media.
If you don't agree with the left, you're far right.
Aye.
Yeah. The mainstream media is now, they've been using the mainstream media or legacy media for decades to control and manipulate perception. And what's happening is the social media platforms or the internet or the ability for people to communicate, they can communicate using the same methods and techniques that were manipulating the perception, and now it's been used against them. And now they're going, it's or it's like banking. If you go and create money and you're a counterfeiter, if the fucking central bank creates the money, that's a central bank, that's banking.
That's fine.
And you go, right, so it's good for what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
That's it.
And you go, well, like, this is the whole thing is they're losing the grip. They're like, no, you're trying to take my ball off me, Andrew Tate, and I don't like it. And the world needs strong men right now, and that's not part of our plan. We need weak men. We need weak men who identify as women
and comply.
That want to fucking take hormone blockers. We don't need strong men. You're really fucking us up for us, Andrew. And we want you to stop. And we're going to call you a terrorist.
We didn't want men to be strong. We didn't want, we can't have it. Get what I mean? And that's not to say that I agree with every ideology that every single person brings out that promotes men's strength. Like, so, you do. I hear what you're saying, but like, some men couldn't be fucking mentally fucked up, and they make choices and
become politicians.
And they want, but see, but then
BBC News presenters.
But Kim, I mean, just look at what was it Hugh Edwards? Was it Hugh Edwards? Hugh Edwards. He's sitting calling Andrew Tate a child trafficker, a sex trafficker, a misogynist, that, right? Now, if that man is they things, I don't care him personally, I don't know, I don't think he is, but that's my opinion, right? But he's calling him that. While he's sending dick pics to a 13-year-old boy. How hypocritical can you fucking be, mate? Because, how can you sit there on air and portray to everybody that this guy's X, Y, and Z, and you're doing fucking worse?
What about the BBC presenter thing I sent you to you? The guy that had raped 42 dogs to death.
Oh.
I mean, what the fuck is that all even about, eh?
Oh, man.
The only cunt I ken that's ever done that is you.
Just done what?
Raped 42 dogs.
It's one of those ones, Ken, when you're just like,
I mean, if you're going to get into really weird shit and raping's your thing, I wouldn't say raping's a great sport or hobby, and you should probably find something else.
Tattooing,
but what the fuck? Why are you picking dogs? I don't think anybody should be. But dogs, what the fuck is going on there?
It's one of those ones, Ken, when you're like, there's nothing in the news that'll shock me now, and then BBC fucking documentary guy rapes 42 dogs to death, and you're just like,
fucked up?
I never even read it. I'm like. I just said it to him. I was like, "Fucking look at this."
But like I said, but what kind of upbringing you had if you want to rape 42 dogs? It's fucked up in the head.
It's more just one. 42's the numbers are
even
the
you
wild
one
part.
dog, you're going to be fucked up, eh?
Aye. I mean, like if you got to one and realised you made a mistake, you could maybe sort of made a choice there, but when you
you don't get to one. When you get there's no you could maybe try. No one looks at a dog and thinks, yes.
I know.
No one does. Well, he does, obviously, but no one fucking with a decent grip on fucking reality.
Beautiful lab. What's the lab's name?
Cooper.
Like
no.
Just
no.
I loved. Okay,
just no.
Beautiful dog when he come in, rubbed his belly, stroked his head. The last thing I wanted to do was have sex with that dog. I didn't want to do that. Half an hour just rubbing his belly. Again, even when its penis was on show, I still didn't want to do anything to its penis. Just wanted to rub his belly. I mean, it was fine.
No luring you in when the lipstick's
hanging out. No. There's something weirdly disturbing about that as well.
I'm really excited for that little clip of that. Just talking about a dog's penis being out.
It'll be the first clip.
That's just that clip.
What? Dog's lipstick?
We'll edit it in with like Robbie talks about his men.
Although my wee dog Money, she's a lassie dog. She tries to hump your leg. It's mental.
Really?
But I'm telling you, she's a lassie dog.
She's been
spayed as well. She'll try and climb on top of my shin and rub herself up against my leg. I'm like, get Dave.
My dog's never done the whole hump and hang out.
Oh, aye. And she's a lassie.
Aye.
He's never done it. He's still got his balls and everything too. He's never done it.
Like when you've got it. You're irresistible to the female species. You go, look.
It's when I decided not to shave off the mullet. She was loving it.
She's like, that's good nowhere.
Well, that was another thing. I woke up this morning and I was just like, right, this is getting shaved. And then I was like, I'm glad I never knew.
Good. The lesbian look suits you.
I'm quite impulsive that way though, Geo. Like sometimes I can get a skinhead. Next minute it's a skinhead and it's blonde.
When the fuck was the last time you had a skinhead?
Fucking last year.
Really?
Aye.
You sure?
Positive, bro.
You ever been to Hart Hill?
Hart Hill?
Aye.
That's where things happen, mate.
Huh? Spent any time down there?
No, spent a lot of time, no. But what goes on like?
Poking.
Aye.
There's two major things that happen.
Extraterrestrial poking.
Extraterrestrial poking happens in Hart Hill.
Okay, with that wee ET lit up finger.
I was just thinking, like, with all your trauma and your fucking tragic story about your man dad breaking up.
Oh, I'm alright.
I thought that, like, when you're feeling lost,
there's many a skinhead at the wedding with my missus. That's only fucking in Loch Lomond. That was it was grown on a wee bit, but that's a
so
fucking.
Not a
fucking skinhead.
It was shorter than that though.
That's like a number 5 on top, lad.
But
a fucking skinhead.
But that's
about an inch long.
A fucking grown in crew cut.
Fucking skinhead.
I had a fucking skinhead. I'm telling you.
Aye, when you were fucking born.
That's a 2.
On the side.
No, at the top.
No chance.
Joke, that's a 2. Used it again.
You're full of shit. That's a 2.
But boys. It's been that long since you used to have had hair. That's why you didn't fucking come with the number. The gradients
we're fucking men.
Eh?
It's because we're men.
You don't want to go to Turkey soon.
You know what happened is you'd shave.
Dude, he did that actually at one point.
Did you want to go to Turkey?
No, I got a hair transplant.
I got it here, but
I got it done in Scotland, and then it was like grew in and was like, right, that's cool. Let's shave it off.
You should have shaved, to be fair.
That's what the difficulty was when I seen how deadly I looked. I was like, it's not.
So your hair follicles, you could actually grow it back then.
You could grow it back, but it's thin, so I would need to get it redone.
Well, we Fraser Brun, shout out to Fraser Brun, by the way. But we Fraz, can we Fraz?
No.
You do can we Fraz. You think about with Ben Arnott and that. We Fraz, he's sound.
Obviously, I know.
You can Fraz, we Fraz is sound. He's had about fucking 3 or 4, maybe 5 hair transplants. It's thick as fuck.
Well, he needs to fucking accept it's not going to fucking work.
But I think, no, but it's thick now. But I think that's the.
It's like the structure's there, but it's just thin, so you need to get it filled out.
The pattern will say that day it's a wee bit thin.
You go like I was looking at it. I thought
get his redone though. He only got half the heat done initially. He'll not go back and get a wee the back done and then a wee fill in elsewhere. This came in quite well though. To be fair, like I think he looks weird with hair.
I shaved it and I was like,
I agree.
I prefer this. Like just shave it. Like
I like waking up and my hair's done.
Right. And you go and you go like that.
Believe it or not, I didn't take no time on my hair though. Like genuinely didn't. I promise you, I came
You took loads of time arguing with yourself whether to shave all.
I know, but it's for the sheer reason that sometimes I can't even be fucked with that. Like all that was just salt spray I sprayed in it. Sprayed a bit of salt spray on it, went like that, and out the door.
I don't even know what that is.
Like it's just fucking like sea salt spray.
Oh,
like I didn't.
Why would you spray sea salt in your hair?
It just holds it in place. If no, my hair goes like that a bit, bud. Again, but like ultimately, if you felt my hair, like there's nothing in it. Like, but I kept men that fucking blow dry their hair, put paste in it. Like some kind of, I go to my barber and she's like, "You want this in it? You want that?" And I'm like, "Nah, hen, I'm all right." Again, like I didn't take. I used to get always, you're a poser, Bob, you're this and that. Like, I couldn't be further for that. Like, it takes me 2 seconds to get ready, bud. Like, I was just like, didn't even iron my t-shirt, shorts on. Like, I take no time in getting ready. Like, I just can't be fucking.
That's a waste of time.
I like to be presentable and I like to look after myself, but I'm no like Ken. Some men are like, right, I'm going like Ken, full shape up, eyebrows are done, this is done, that's done. So the only thing I think I would get done is if my teeth went total fucked, I would get my teeth done. No pure big turkey numbers, but I'd get maybe composite bonding done or something nice done with my teeth.
Bollocks, lad.
No, but I wouldn't want rotten teeth. I wouldn't like to have my teeth fucked.
You could get that down at Hart Hill.
Aye, what?
You get the.
What's happening to Hart Hill?
You know what? Like anybody that's drove down the M8 will know Hart Hill. You drive through
Hart Hill service station.
You can go to when you get to the Hart Hill. There's a flyover, and the flyover is the flyover for the Hart Hill shots turn off.
Right.
You can go in this flyover, or you can approach this flyover, and it be like torrential sideways rain with the wind blowing. You go under the flyover. There is no rain, no wind, nothing, and it's like there's a curtain, and you go through the veil.
Aye. I do pass it quite a lot because I travelled into Farsley Naval Base quite a lot. And
if you pull off there and wait about an hour, you have about a 93% chance of getting fingered by an alien. Because we reckon that is the reason that veil's there.
Scotland's Bermuda Triangle type thing.
Pretty much.
Aye. But what happens is
there's some energy spots there.
It's arsehole virginity that disappears, no ships or planes.
Aye.
So that's what gets lost.
I lost that long ago.
It's lost at the Hart Hill service.
I lost that long ago, but sometimes I just beg myself for the banter.
Yeah. But you mean, look, if you're feeling a bit exhausted and you want a bit of extraterrestrial love, then you can head out to Hart Hill.
There was a few spots though, all joking aside, there was a few spots for UFO activity.
Bonnie Ridge. Or Bonnie Bridge.
What are they called now? UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena now they're called.
They changed the name?
It's not unidentified flying object, it's UAPs now, so unidentified aerial phenomena.
You've got Deckman Hill and then Bonnie Rig or Bonnie Bridge or Bonnie whatever.
Bonnie Ridge is the place where they're always spotted, and Deckman Hill was the one where the famous incident happened with Robert. Can't remember his second name, but that was properly investigated. Men in Black from the UK ministry came up.
Livy Centre's designed off his drawing of the UFO.
But it's not. Do you know?
Is it?
Yep.
Do you know like it's one of the ones though that I used to be all big on UFOs, right? And obviously there is definitely extraterrestrial and intelligent life. You'd be actually ignorant to think we were the only intelligent life in the solar system. Not even the solar system, in the universe, right?
What about on Earth?
Aye. Even on Earth.
Do you think they're here?
Aye.
Where?
I don't know.
Antarctica.
But like places like Antarctica, but like you ever watched the first X-Files movie?
Maybe, but I don't remember it.
The very first one. Well, there was only a couple, but it was basically there was a big project in Antarctica. Like they moved it from the Nevada desert, to Antarctica to start this like alien program type thing. And I always think that like Hollywood sort of bases things on reality sometimes, or it's a sort of foresight for reality.
It's The Simpsons.
Aye, and I always thought it could be places like Antarctica and stuff like that. Whether or not it was just advanced technology from back in the day that they've been able to model and then replicate to themselves and it's just humans that are flying these crafts. I think we'd be very naive to think there wasn't. But then at the same time, I think the minute the government actually go disclose it and say, aliens are real, by the way, I'll not believe it. And I believed it all my days. But the minute the government said to me, extraterrestrials are real and they live amongst us, I'll be like, lying bastards. Because I didn't believe a word they say. I genuinely do not believe a word the government says.
Well, they didn't do that. Remember the Mexican government says we've got like an alien body that's crash landed, and everybody went.
Well, it was Roswell.
No, I'm talking about recently.
Oh, recently.
Recently. Aye.
They brought out this mummified remain of an alien. And like, mate, I've seen better paper mache fucking examples in Primary 3.
And it looked like fuck all. Aye.
There was, and when the American government started talking about there being aliens, it's part of like, was it Operation Blue Pill or something?
Operation Paperclip was taking the Nazi scientists.
No. This was the other year. And it was part of when the fucking HARP shit had happened and X, Y, and Z, and it was part of I want to say Blue Pill, but I could be lying at my fucking arse.
So Blue Book was investigating the UFOs. Paperclip was the Russian scientists, the German scientists, the US. They worked in the rocket program.
This was only like last year or the year before.
But did the MOD not disclose loads of shit as well, and then it just go all sort of?
Our government bought loads of shit off the Russians back in the day.
Aye.
Collapse of the Soviet Union, there was many KGB officers that were looking for a wedge to sell documents that were in safes. Famous one was the Spetsnaz divers in one of the deepest lakes in Russia. And the Spetsnaz divers that went down and
spaceship
shit the bed. They reported, so they follow the Soviet Union. KGB officers are selling the secrets.
Right.
The secrets were bought by the ministry. Like, fucking, what you're selling, we're buying.
Right.
And they wanted to get as many documents as they could. So this recounts a mission that the Spetsnaz were doing with the diving team.
Right.
The diving team came across underwater aliens that were described 9 feet in length, luminous, telepathically communicating with the Spetsnaz divers. Again, we're not talking about like some sort of fucking Hollywood creation. This is proper after-action report of a special forces diver saying these things are in this fucking loch. And you put yourself there, can you imagine, like, you're in an unnatural environment, you're underwater, you've got breathing apparatus, and literally some fucking alien comes out of the abyss.
Paul standing there.
But do you know, I think the ocean is terrifying. Do you not think it's terrifying? Like, there is no danger we know what's going on in the ocean.
We don't.
Like, it's fucking terrifying.
Well, that was one of the things about they've got the USOs, which is unidentified submersible objects, because the way that they operate, or the way that their propulsion works, propulsion is actually the wrong word, because they actually fold gravity, and that creates the movement. It's not nothing. There's not a propellant. So they are not affected by the material that they're passing through.
Right.
So things like air, water, we would need to propel and go against the resistance of the fluid that you're traveling in. So if it was underwater, it'd be water, and if it was in the air, it'd be air. And what you're doing is you're making a bang, and you're using that explosion to propel you forward, and using an exhaust to sort of push off. And that's our understanding of propulsion. So you got some fucking Soviet kind of crazy Ivan in his submarine with the fucking propeller going. Next minute, his radar's pinging, and up battle stations, because they're like, this thing's moving at 250 knots underwater. And they're like, there is nothing.
That we know.
There is nothing that moves that quickly in water. So he's thinking it must be a torpedo. Torpedoes don't move that quick. And they're like this like a hypersonic thing. So they are panicking. And this thing is just approaching and then goes right past them. And they're like, what is this? And then you've got the Spetsnaz.
I've never actually heard that story. And you came on big on it.
Nick Pope,
that's interesting.
Nick Pope worked for the Ministry of Defence.
He was a desk boy.
He was on the desk for 26 years, and he went in as a complete skeptic. Says, nah, it's a lot of crocky shit. Take the position, cush the number, we're going to do it. Came out and he's like, 100% there's aliens here. It's not even like it's not even up for discussion, and it's not about like what incident would like verify that for you. It's like, which one would you like? What flavour would you like?
How many would you like to hear about?
But these were the sort of things that he's telling now. You just look at like the pyramids. You look at Quetzalcoatl. You look at Machu Picchu. You look at all the signs around the world where you go, there is something way more intelligent than we currently are that's had influence here. We are not fucking apex in this food chain. We're not peak.
No, I agree. I totally agree. I was always big on that. Like, even my project, I mean, when I was in the primary school at one point, it was primary 6 or something. I was going back to my childhood again. I'd done a project that was on unexplained. My favourite used to watch the X-Files and unexplained activities and all that type of stuff. And I used to, and I was always fascinated with like UFOs and all that type of shit. I've always been fascinated. I've veered away from it a wee bit as I've got older, because there's only so much you can watch before you go, right, I'm pretty convinced they exist.
Yeah. Did you follow Bob Lazar?
I watched him on Joe Rogan the other week there today. Well, no, the week there, but he was on Joe Rogan last year. But I watched me clips a couple of weeks ago, and one thing about Bob Lazar is his account seems a bit wacky, but at the same time, Bob Lazar's accounts never change. He always says the same story. And usually somebody that's lying is obviously, the story can change over time. His just stays the same. Because I've watched all his accounts.
What did you think it was wacky?
I just think if it was that plausible, that he probably still wouldn't be alive, to be honest. That's
Yeah, but that's why some people take to the public stage as their defence,
possibly. No, because in fact it wasn't that wacky, because the way he was talking about propulsion, the way he was talking about basically the technology that was, because he was talking about, what was he was talking about, it was Nevada he was in, but it was Area 51 essentially, wasn't it?
So Area 51 is the famous one, but he worked in S4, which was in the Nevada test range, so it's in the sort of area.
Aye.
But it wasn't Area 51. They have another range which was carved into the side of the mountain,
right?
And that's Area S4.
You been to Vegas, Geo? No. No. This is the truth. See, we are in Vegas, and anybody that's been to Vegas could vouch for this as well. We were getting that Maverick helicopter to go to the Grand Canyon. Get loaded on the Grand Canyon and stuff, just tourist shit. And I actually asked the pilot the question. I says, "What's that plane? What does that plane do?" Just as like a wee boy, I asked the pilot of the helicopter, because you had to go through this. Essentially, the helicopters take off to go to the Grand Canyon from the airport, but it's a separate part of the airport. You don't have to go through security, etc., right? And I says, "What do they planes do? Unmarked." Totally unmarked. This was maybe
the red stripe on the tail.
Totally, just like what you'd see on the YouTube. And I said, and they say, and the boy just laughed and says, "Oh, that goes to the place that doesn't it?" I can mind him saying, "He goes, oh, that goes to the area that exists, no far from here." And I was like, what, the old Area 51? He says, "Oh, I don't think to call it that anymore." He says, "But cargo goes there every day." He's like, "Unmarked planes go 2 or 3 times there daily, daily." Unmarked planes, they didn't get vetted, they didn't get screened, they just land, take off,
Yeah.
Daily.
You would think to yourself, I mean, if I was Bob Lazar, right, and imagine you get the call. So the idea is that they get the Janus flights, that's what they were called, Janus flights, unmarked, one singular red stripe on the tail, and it was the Janus flight. It would be like you would go to the Las Vegas airport, you picked up, you'd fly out. And Bob Lazar was sort of introduced to the intelligence. Here's the briefing. This is what you're going to get. Zeta Reticuli. This aircraft came from this star system, 4 light years away from here. It's old technology, but it's a dual star planet, meaning it's got 2 sort of suns, and this is where the technology is from. Uses a heavy element 115 as the fuel source. It defies the laws of physics because it has absolutely no thermodynamics. Where there's any heat that's created, you can draw unlimited power for it, and you can create a gravity wave to fold literally time and space in itself to move this thing forward. You go, cool. So why the fuck am I getting picked up in a Janus flight? Get me picked up to fuck in the sport model. Right, imagine that's at your work and somebody's saying getting a 737. Like, bitch, get me picked up. I get whoever it is, Paul or the other fucking aliens or whoever the Greys or whatever you've got, get me left. If I'm going to enjoy myself.
There's more than one, obviously, species, because you talk about the Greys and everybody says that the Greys are like the evil ones. But then you think...
They're not the evil ones, they're the fingering ones.
This is reptilians and all that. You think there's more than one species? Do you think they exist?
100%.
Yeah, different sort of... Yep. The Greys
the Canadian minister, the Air Minister of Canada came out and says that they're not only here, that there's human alien hybrids that are here that appear human, which you can fucking believe. I think I've interacted with a few of them. Right, he's got some fucking questions to ask.
Where are your jeans for? Me after the point.
Who knows, mate?
Zeta Reticuli, I told you that's where he's fucking from. But he must have came in a way bigger sport model. He was never fitting in that fucker.
Deliver for a fucking Yeti, you cunt.
Well, I mean, what did they mix him with?
What did they mix him with?
They got They must have been sitting there going like, right, fuck it, we've made that. Like, they look too. Let's fucking spice it up. Let's make something fucking
how far can we push
tasty.
This?
I know. But you got like the Canadian minister came out and says not only is there hybrids here, but there is aliens that monitor and watch us, and we are in communication with them. We have diplomatic relations with the Galactic Federation. From the retired Air Minister of Canada coming out and going, there's nine species that we're 9 different aliens we're in contact with.
That's mad, that's it.
It's fucking cool too.
Oh, that's cool.
It's the only thing, like, I've never had any fear of anything, but the thing that would fucking plant me to the ground is the day that the UFO comes and this thing is communicating right into my brain. I am, like, see when people go, I would get the phone out, I would do fuck all. I'd be frozen.
You'd be frozen, eh?
Be frozen. Like, I'm going to get fingered here.
Like, anal probe, like that.
I thought this only happened in Heart Hill. I've been avoiding this.
That's scary, though, eh? That's scary. It's a scary thought.
But the first thing, like, what would be the first thing you would do if, like, picture the scene, UFO's there, fucking light beam, you're frozen, you're not moving. It's like, cool, we're letting you know we're here. We're going to come and approach. Don't worry, just chill out. Everything's going to be fine. What's the first thing you're going to say? What are you going to ask?
Fuck knows. That's a good question. What would you ask? You'd be shiting yourself.
How was the drive?
You would be totally shiting yourself.
Long commute.
First thing I would ask is, I'd probably ask if there was life after death, if they knew that.
I can answer that for you. So you need to come up with a better one.
How do they reproduce?
Then pulls out his big 9 foot.
And he shows you. Just like this, Robbie. Just put that. Take one to the ship and just. I've been fucking waiting for one of you to ask that.
I don't know. What would you ask?
Yes.
I'm going to divert the question. What would you ask?
Don't actually know, mate, to be honest.
It's a hard question, it's a good question.
I think in that moment of what the fuck, I don't think my brain could fucking function, to be fair. I would just be like,
wow.
All right.
What would you ask?
Show me your bit.
Show me, that's it, aye.
Show me
your hood.
Take me in that and show me your bit.
That's a great question.
Take me a fucking tour.
It's a great answer.
Imagine it, like, imagine coming up, how can you tell? Like, what did you do? How come you're late? I was doing 14 laps of the sun. I've got new pals. Who are they coming out? They just go wait outside.
Surely you would forgive me fucking for being late then. Why you late, Bob? Well, I've just been to a different star system, bud, so shut your puss.
I would just be like, you're full of shit, lad.
I don't even believe me.
That's the shitest excuse yet, Robbie.
I know.
Robbie, you're going out, like, I know your excuses are starting to get out of control, mate.
This is it, mate.
They're getting really out of hand. Club. You're sitting there like, Paul and Davey, your new AT pals. And they're just sitting, but I mean, imagine like saying, look, I'd be like, show me something, show me what you, like, what does your place look like? What can this ship do?
Show me.
And that, like, you don't want it to go, well, maybe you would want it to go through a wormhole, like big cosmic wormhole, and you would need some reference point, because this is the thing we talk about the hermetic principles. For anything to make sense, you need an opposing reference. Yeah. You need something to measure it against. My
pal in DMT once saying that dimethyltryptamine, and obviously that gets created in your pineal gland, and he took DMT, and hallucinogenics have always scared me a wee bit. He took DMT, and obviously he's hallucinating, but he took DMT, and he basically said that he had this like wee Martian like fucker like coming up to him, like telling him to look at this object, and he was like, he was like, oh, he was just look at this object, and he kept on like, and he was like, he was that stunned by the creation of this object, and obviously he's tripping, but he's like, he was that stunned by the creation of this object, he was like, time, matter, space didn't matter, because if we could teleport this into like the 3D reality, like our reality, like everything, like war would cease to exist, like like famine, like hatred, everything would just be love and creation. He's like, it was just the meaning of life in this, like...
What did the boy make? Fucking ecstasy?
Oh, fuck knows. Aye, I don't know.
Well, this is what the Martian made.
This is... The Martian showed
it was
him
a blue speckled Mitzi.
No, it was like... No, it was just like... He said it was like this golden aura, like just a beacon of light, but it was like... It was everything... It was like the universe encapsulated into this one object.
Yep.
It's hard to explain because you can't mind it all.
Yep.
And he is actually, well, I'm not going to name him, but he is actually an intelligent boy. He's not a druggie or anything like that. But he took DMT once, and he says it changed his perspective of life. And I was like, fucking hell.
You looked into DMT?
I've looked into it before, but I ultimately think I would be a wee bit too scared to take it. But I've looked into it a lot. At one point when I was going through this sort of spiritual sort of thing, I was like big on, I'm going to try that.
Have you watched DMT, the Spirit Molecule with Joe Rogan?
I've watched that.
See Strassman that's on it? Have you read his book?
I've read a wee bit of it. I've not read it all. I've read a wee bit of it.
Right, the first bit's a wee hit, like it's a bit more of like how they developed the clinical trial and take a bit of getting into.
Aye.
See,
does it not derive from like ayahuasca and stuff like that?
So DMT is dimethyltryptamine, which is a compound that's created in the mind or in the pineal gland. So everything has dimethyltryptamine in it.
We can get it for, access it for like deep breathing and dreaming as well. I think we can access it for REM sleep as well.
With dimethyltryptamine or DMT is like people report that have had near-death experiences report in DMT trips all seem the same. See that going into light and travelling really fast and then interacting with intelligence. Like the DMT trip and near-death experiences seem to be, that is the spiritual gateway to wherever our soul comes from. We're in a meat suit and our souls come in and our souls go back. And it's like, you talk about life after death. Well, there is nobody that's done DMT or a big psychedelic trip that's went, oh, there's nothing after. Like, it's out the equation.
Do you think that's because it's opening up a part of your brain and consciousness that you can't access just in general, or do you think?
If you look at, there's, I explain it a bit like a bike wheel. So we live in the outer rim, and at the hub is where, like, you find how this thing goes together, like consciousness, what happens, the souls, and the spokes of that wheel are different routes. So, like DMT, psychedelics, breath work, yogic practices are all paths into that. But you spend all your time in the rim, you're never going to get to the hub. But if you go, well, maybe you're a bit chicken-hearted about a big psychedelic trip, which is fair enough. It's not something that's a mild undertaking. You probably want to do a good bit of preparation and be ready for what you're going to do. But if you look at sort of the old yogic sort of text, all the Tibetan scripture, all the Chinese history, you look at all this stuff, they're all talking about the same thing. And you go, well, it can't all be wrong. And it's all those different spokes are saying it all leads to the same hub. And you get these people that do DMT, and the 67 participants in Strassman's study, where Strassman's study was like, we need to stop, was the medical model of hallucinogenics or an hallucination or what was considered a psychedelic experience was that you had something in your mind that you were projecting or creating an image, or this trip, you were tripping from something that was from within. It was within you, and that was how they understood it. When these participants were doing this study, they didn't know each other, and when they were taking the study, they were going into the DMT realm, and they were interacting with this intelligence, like the Martian, and they were coming back with information. So they were taking notes on what the experience was. So it was measured out, double-blind study, properly dosed sort of subjects, milligram per kilogram of body weight. So it was all very, very meticulously designed. And where Strassman says, look, we need to stop this, was when multiple participants were interacting with the same thing that didn't know each other and were coming back with the same information, because they didn't have that in their mind before, but none of them knew each other and were coming back with the same info. And they were like, We can't, our medical models can't explain this. This is a chemical gateway to the spirit realm. We don't know how, if they get stuck or they trapped, we don't know how. No, it wasn't that they would come back. They would definitely come back. But if they struggled with what they experienced medically, they couldn't support them because they didn't have a model to understand what was going on.
Right, okay.
I think that's a bit bizarre too, because it's a bit like when you're like dreaming. Like, you ever had like sleep paralysis, like night terror or that?
I don't even dream, lad.
Aye,
I'm on and off. I'm fucking on and off like a computer.
You ever had sleep paralysis?
I don't know.
It's a terrifying thing, but genuinely it's terrifying. I've
heard about it. It doesn't sound like a fucking whole lot of laugh time.
It's horrific, right? I've had it a couple of times. You tend to be. I'm not just saying.
You wake up and it feels like you're frozen,
mate. It's like you're getting possessed by a demonic entity, and I'm not exaggerating. Anybody that's had sleep paralysis will tell you the same thing. I could tend to sort of induce myself into it when I was lying on my back and when I was trying to fight sleep, and then sometimes you go into REM sleep, but you know you're awake, but you're in this sort of, you're between two realities. But I've had it 2 or 3 times, and everybody else that you talk to has the same thing. So me and you, if you dream the night, Geo, and I dream, we're going to dream something different. Like that's just, well, as far as we're aware, we're going to dream something different. You'll come and say, I had a dream last night, and you can only remember fragments of your dream, and I would say, well, fucking like, that sounds a bit mental, mate. That's just probably stuff that's been going on in your brain, or sort of consolidated together, and it's just projecting to sort of rationalise it in your own mind. The thing with sleep paralysis is, right, is you wake up, mate, right, and you genuinely do, and you can see your room, so you're not dreaming. So you wake up, you'd look, I'd say, right, okay, right, that's me awake. You didn't feel awake, and your body's completely paralysed. You cannot move. So you head to your toes, so your body then starts to panic. It generally does. It starts to set in because you're paralysed, but you can see as clear as day. So you're in this subconscious state, you're in this reality, but you cannot move. And then when you try to move, it makes it worse. So it's like someone sitting on your chest. And then if you shut your eyes and just relax and go with it, you'll fall back asleep. But if you try to fight it and you keep your eyes open and try and fight it, you'll not be able to move for a certain period of time because your body's still shut down. So your body essentially paralyses itself when it's sleeping. So folk that say they move loads in their sleep are liars, because when they're in a deep sleep, you can't move, you're paralysed. When you start to move in your sleep is when you start to come out of that deep state of sleep. And then you start to hallucinate, and everybody sees the same thing. They see this big dark shadow, this alien-looking creature that's just this big dark shadow. It's basically called the night terror guy, man, or whatever it is, all right? Or you see this old sort of hag, this old lady. And everybody that has night terrors see these two things. Even if you read about it, sleep paralysis, that's what you see. I've had them both, and it's fucking terrifying. It's been a long while since I've had it, but I have had them both. First time I had it, I actually thought I'd been abducted by aliens. And that sounds ridiculous, but I actually thought, and the thing is, you're trying to scream for help, so you're like,
nothing comes out.
And nothing comes out. And I had it no long ago when Rio was lying right next to me, and I was actually like trying to get my girlfriend to wake up just to comfort me. It sounds really, really, really wimpy, but you're terrified. And then I looked, and there was this like fucking hood crawling at the bottom of my bed like that, and I was like, what the fuck is that? So I didn't want to shut my eyes. Because to relax back into it, because this fucking wee thing that you ever seen the film The Labyrinth, and the Goblin King has the wee cunts running about the bed? No. You ever seen The Labyrinth with David Bowie? Right. And he's the Goblin King, and he comes and snatches the bairns and all that shit. It's honestly like this hooded creature, like runs just slowly, methodically, and then it starts to crawl up the side of your bed, and you can't take your eyes off it. You're awake, Geo. And this thing's coming up the side of you, and you're like, oh yeah, fucker, get away from me. And it's just coming up, and you're trying everything to punch this wee ugly bastard off the bus.
And what's it going to do to you?
Nothing, bud. It's you're hallucinating. But what's that?
Are you hallucinating?
You're totally hallucinating.
Is it really happening?
But all you can see, but it's as clear as you are to me now. You are hallucinating. You're not
what
asleep.
If that's really happening?
It might be, and you cannot move. But this object, this being doesn't harm you. And then all of a sudden, you just take a deep breath, and you're just like, and then you're able just to move a limb, and then you just come out into this panic and go, oh yeah, fucker, I'm awake, and what the fuck was that? And you're terrified, bud. You are terrified. I've had it maybe 3 times in my life, and everybody else I've spoke to that's had it has seen the same thing. It's either the big, dark, sort of alien-looking thing, or this old sort of...
You had that, Mikey?
I don't even dream like that.
It's fucking terrifying, bud.
Unless you just shut down and restart.
It's terrifying.
You fucking alien.
You never woke up and you felt like somebody's pinned you down?
I think I've woke up and I feel like I'm stuck, like I'm frozen.
That's a format, aye.
But never, like, you know when you get startled and you wake up and
Aye.
you can't move and then like you eventually get going.
Mm.
But I've had that feeling, like, you know, like if you've been surprised and you feel like frozen.
Aye.
Like that.
That's sleep paralysis. Aye. And because you're probably calm in nature, you've probably just been like, oh, I can't move here, right? I'll just settle back into sleep. If that ever happens to me now, I can trigger go, oh, I've got a wee bit of sleep paralysis here. Right, just relax, Bob, put the heat down, shut the eyes, it'll pass. But see if you try and fight it, and you open your eyes, oh, shit's going to hit the fan. It's scary stuff. Aye.
You going to do it tonight?
Maybe try.
I hope so.
You need to.
You've put it out there in your head now. You've already got that fuck. I may have sleep paralysis tonight.
No, I'm actually up at I'm working in the morning, so I'm actually up at 5 in the morning. Actually, I wasn't meant to be.
Maybe that should be an alarm clock. You know, a wee bit of sleep paralysis in the morning.
So set it for 4:45 so you can hear that.
That should be the way that you break your anxiety and you're waking up with a negative pattern. Nothing will make you more grateful than when you come out of sleep paralysis.
You're right.
You're sitting there going, thank God.
Sleep paralysis demon. There you go. What's when it tells you?
He's got a picture. Somebody.
Aye, so that depicts it in a nutshell, mate. I mean, that sort of depicts it there.
The wee thing.
This wee thing, just fucking.
You're shaking it for that.
Like this, just like that.
I think you were talking about a big hoodie.
No, there's the night terror. There's the big shadow creature.
Let me see.
That appears. Now, all I typed in there was sleep paralysis.
That's your uncle with the onesie on.
And Google Images. That's all I typed in. Sleep paralysis, Google Images. That's what folk are drawing, mate. So everybody in the world that has sleep paralysis sees the same thing. That's what I'm getting at. It's not as if I see a different demon to you. We all see the same shit. So if we get sleep paralysis, we're seeing the two fucking things.
That's different for the other one you showed me though, because the other one's got a onesie on.
But they're much the same. Do you know what I mean? They're much the same. It's what folk are seeing. It's what they're depicting. This fucking thing hovering over your bed.
It looks like The Ring.
That's what it's like. It's
The Ring,
fucking horrific. It's the most terrifying ordeal I've ever been on 38 years of the planet.
Aye.
Fucked.
You're definitely getting that tonight. 100%.
Could
not happen to a better cunt. Could not happen to a better guy.
Terrifying.
And it must be the favourite because you're obviously getting picked. You're getting chosen.
I actually thought I was abducted the first time it happened.
Would you feel loved?
No.
Would you feel loved if you got abducted?
No.
You know that feeling you want to belong when you're like primary school and getting bullied. And you never felt worthy, and then you get alien. You're like, I fucking knew I was a favourite.
Aye.
It just everything falls into place. You go, it's good to be the chosen one. Aye. As you're fucking pulverising space and time.
Aye.
Galactic fucking abduction.
It's a bit bizarre, like, eh?
That's a weird one, like.
What would you have happen, right? So the Greys take you in, you're frozen, you're on a ship, they're fucking probing you, and then the wee night terror thing jumps up. So I fucking told you it was coming for you.
Oh, you'd be real just fucking geared up then, eh?
Just sitting next to you looking at you being like,
you'd be real fucking, you'd be real geared up, eh? As long as they fucking numb me up. Speaking of numb me up, you're going to need to numb me up fucking in a couple of weeks.
No.
You're going to have to.
No.
I'm not sitting through that, no. You're going to have to, but...
How am I going to have to? It needs to be on 2 hours before you fucking come. You're going to hate it.
But what I'm saying is, I'm going to do it.
Oh, you can do it.
Right, that's fine. As long as you're in agreement.
Aye, I'm not sitting waiting 2 hours for cream to one.
I am no... I've paid my dues. I'm not sitting getting tattooed with foot that shit. Again, that shit's like a godsend.
What's this you're talking about?
Numbing cream.
Numbing cream?
But like you got any tattoos, you? Right. Well, brother, to put it in perspective, like Michael said, I've paid my dues, but I've had a few back.
When we ever eventually get around to doing your first tattoo, you're not using fucking numbing cream.
Just to go raw. The thing, you see the guy had the hair transplant. The hair transplant guy was saying that, mind you were telling me about the guy at the hair transplant, the tattoo, he says the hair transplant was way worse. Aye. It was just discomfort. It was like intense discomfort. It wasn't like unbearable pain. You weren't happy with it.
No.
You weren't happy with it, but it was like, you need to get it done.
It's one of those ones as well where kind of
the longer it went on, you were just like, look, crack on. The initial intensity sort of dulls you, like, look, just get it done. Like,
if you're scared of needles, it would be a pretty horrific fucking thing. But
my needle phobia was gone, and see when it was 200 fucking local anaesthetics in, it was like, bang a bit more in. You were actually asking for it. You were like, right, I'm over this.
Just numb.
And you know what the local anaesthetics like? It's like crushed glass. It feels like.
We're off, eh?
You're like,
tattoos are lethal though. Okay, I mean, like when I got my sleeve, I done both my sleeves nail numbing cream. I done my chest nail numbing cream. I done my foot back nail numbing cream.
Pass.
I'm sure I did.
Long time ago.
Sure I did. Done my foot back nail numbing cream, And then as I got older, obviously I became more a pussy. But then
we went back through your time. We identified you a pussy fairly on.
That was early on when I was greeting like a little bitch. I feel enlightened again. But I was a bit of a therapy session earlier on. I apologise for that. But and then I discovered Norman Cream. And
does the trauma come out when you're getting needles on you?
Oh, fuck, bud.
You just feel like...
Aye. Oh, aye, bud. It's all right sitting for tours. Like, see somebody goes and goes, tattoos on that saying, and they'll get a wee tour shite to hang on their arm or something. Aye, okay, bud, no bother. Or a wee thin line work hang, ken? Aye, all right, bud, no bother. Try sit for 12 and a half hours and get a back piece, ken? And then go in 3 days later and fucking keep them and blast it again. And go to your work and lie down.
Just to clarify, at no point has Robbie ever sat for 12 and a half hours.
You know what I mean?
Ever.
I sat for 2 seconds though.
It's not but in one shot. I don't remember. When did you do two? When did you do back to back?
When you're at Mint Gun Club, I done 2 seconds.
On what?
On my back. Because you lined it and then you collared the bottom half and then I come back for the top half.
Okay, I remember, lad.
Aye.
You calling them out?
I'm calling them out.
Calling bullshit on it.
No. And then my chest you done in one go. Because mind I was screaming.
Not the full 2 sides.
Aye, you did. Did I?
And
because that was the night. Well, I'm not going to say it because I ended up getting you shut down.
What?
Well.
Oh, when you got fucking muscle relaxed out your fucking forehead and then fell out with every kind of
It was pretty much validating my brain and I was 6 pints down. Didn't tell him. It says ink me.
The work.
It worked, fucking right. Then I went out after it and I can't remember the fucking thing.
There was a post the next day on Facebook. I apologise to anybody I may have bumped into last night.
So
the fear. The fear. Oh, that's worse than that fucking whatever gremlin it was.
So probably would have got anal probe that night and
that's worse than the night tremor. When there's night tremors.
Night terrors.
Night terror. Fuck that. See the fear the next day. When every authority's looking for you, everybody knows everything you've ever done. DPD rings the doorbell and you dive under the fucking coffee table.
It's nothing worse. That's why I stopped drinking Taro, because although I was never a bad drunkard and was never aggressive or anything, I stopped drinking, mate, for that reason, because it wasn't serving me a purpose. Like, you wake up the next day with sheer anxiety, thinking, oh, what the fuck did I say? What did I do? And I was thinking, why am I inducing my anxiety here? I'm actually giving myself anxiety.
It's a shite deal, isn't it? Really, you think of it, it's a fucking awful
stupid
deal.
It's terrible.
Just own it.
And then you can't like, and then you're not present, and you're not present with your bairn the next day. You're not present with your missus. You know what I mean?
You're a failure, and you're fucking. But no, that day because you let them down because you wanted to go out and drink.
I'm an absolute
fucking scumbag. You had an opportunity to be a great man and a great father, and you fucked it for a pint. You're a fucking mess. You scumbag. And look at you. Look at you in your hollow, anxious existence.
Fucking parasite.
Sitting there, fucking terrified in your bed, anxious as fuck. Look at you, a mess. Shaking like a shitting dog, buzzing like a fucking Murky's generator. Pints, talking shite to people last night.
I should be at home with my kids.
And sitting there copping out.
I'm an absent father.
Copping out with fucking, I was bullied and my man dad broke up when I was 14. You fucking despicable mess of a human. You fucking shambles. Sitting there saying that you're not a victim when you're playing the victim card.
I'm suicidal again. Fact.
You should be fucking suicidal. That pish patter, man. That shite patter, shite victimhood. See if you've got go and get some decent victim fucking situations. At least if you're going to be the victim, let's go get some good ones.
That's actually what I've done it for though. I've see when you actually think back to certain like things that you were maybe traumatised with, you think it and then you compare it to someone else's like trauma and shit. You think to yourself, man, the fuck up. You genuinely.
I don't understand it, mate.
You never have though.
Nah.
Ken, you've never been that way, Ken. That you've.
Like I say, I've been through some horrific things.
You're very present. You're not. You didn't
even that. I just don't understand why you dwell on shit and situational fucking.
It's the best way to be, brother. It's the best
forming your fucking like. Oh, this.
We see people with real like stuff that's happened to them. And you go. Like the definition of trauma, they have that. Like you're well past the minimum fucking requirement for what would be worthy. If you could say, look, I've got trauma, that you're well in the fucking ballpark here. Right. And they're not running about talking to going, oh, you know, I've got trauma and it's so hard, and you know I've been for PTSD, and you know I just can't resolve it, and you know if only it'd been different, but nobody knows what I've been through, nobody knows my struggle, and it's so difficult, and you're like, They bother. So talk shit. See the people with real trauma, they're not running about telling you that. That's in a box buried and never to be reopened. And only after a certain amount of time, I mean, we build up enough trust and they feel like they can talk about it, and maybe the situation's right, and they fucking creak open the lid a tiny bit, and you go, oof, fair fucking play. That
might sound like I'm contradicting myself a wee bit here for like obviously maybe the start, but like they things like see it, me having anxiety and they feelings. Ultimately, they were real feelings that I felt genuinely, but at the same time, it's like I always think that bad shit happens to you, right? Albeit different levels, and mine isn't anything compared to what other folks have obviously experienced and stuff. But I always think the bad shit that happens to you molds you into the man you're going to become, and it's up to you to learn.
Yes and no, because like situations, for argument's sake, like at one point I was held at knife point by an alky to get back in the house. The next morning, I'm not up nor down by that. Don't care. Don't give a fuck. Not affected me. It's like,
how would that affect you, bud? Do you think that's mental to think like that, or?
Lad,
that's quite traumatic.
The knife wasn't even the worst one. Chainsaw, too, lad, some fucking rough shit. And it's just like, why would that I don't understand the concept of hanging on or having a problem. Do you get what I'm saying?
Ultimately, that's like if you look at anyone that wants to collapse that part of their life or that part of their perception, essentially what you want to do is get them to let go of the feeling that's attached to it. So you're just automatically doing what you should do, which is
just right,
it happened. Right, it happened. That's it. Let it go. But when people are that locked into it, what it is they hold tight.
Yeah, why?
Because they essentially, when people use experiences that have happened to them, and when you get a bad experience, you keep that close so you can avoid that. That's hardwired into us, where we go, look, we are designed to identify danger and to take evasive action, fight or flight.
Fight or flight.
So what happens when something creates that instinct in your body, you want to recognise, should you fight or should you do flight?
No.
And when you look at them, you have that reaction, you have something you hold on to because you go, did I do it properly? Did I freeze? Did I fight? Should I, could I? And you build up this whole sort of situation in your head where you go, look, what should I have done?
I don't know, I was about 7. There was only a whole lot I could do at that point. But it's just like, why? Do you get what I'm saying though?
I get it. That's absolutely ideal.
Folk hang on to it so it doesn't happen again. I'm not actively going to look hellbound to a chainsaw again, but at the same token,
I'm not.
How did they fucking hold you with a chainsaw? Do you think you were a tree?
No, it was just smashed.
Okay.
But see me hearing that though, but that's shit. That is actually shit, but it is
what it is.
Aye, I can brer, but it's shite. I feel pissed that you had to endure piss like that, eh?
I'm not arsed.
I can you know, bud, but I think that's shit.
That's what it is. We were fine. Nothing came off.
I know, pal, but I just think.
Do you know what I mean?
Maybe you hear what I'm saying with that, Geo, eh? I
feel fine about it as well.
Fucking right, sound.
I mean,
but I wish I didn't have to go through that, but maybe that's just me as a person.
Maybe it's shaped
that's the caring part of it. I mean, the caring part is
I didn't have any issues with chainsaws. You know what I mean? I didn't have PTSD.
That's what you became, man.
Ring, ding, ding.
You got what experience. Living with Leatherface.
I know how this works.
Good. Living in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But no, but ultimately you didn't want any. You wouldn't like Ragnar, and I wouldn't like Shiloh. You wouldn't like the Bairns. We wouldn't like that.
But I'm not an alcoholic on the same token either, so it's not going to happen.
You know, but what my point is, lads, right? You as a person, right? There's a reason you're no fucking holding a chainsaw to your wee boy, and there's a reason I'm not, and there's a reason Geo's not.
I've not had 8 cans of special brew today.
Aye. But see, the thing is, if I had 8 cans of special brew, I would just be sound. I'd just want to go to my bed.
No one's sound after 8 cans of special brew.
What is it? That's like Tennant Super Lager.
It's Carlsberg's version of Tennant Super. It's like fucking 14%.
What is Tennant Super Lager? Is it vodka and lager?
It's just a really strong brewed lager.
It's a can of scumbaggery where you're just sort of in a real
fucking
doldrum of a cesspit that you just can't get out of.
It was always special brew like that.
It's just a can of debauchery, and you just go to whatever your particular niche of debauchery is. You're going to go and fucking take that up. And the more cans you get, the higher the level of debauchery you can get to.
But that was that generation too, because my father's like nearly 70-year-old. Never been a bad drunk ever. Never raised his hand to me. Never ever been a bad drunk. Never. Never. My father's never raised his hand to me, right? But he likes a drink. Ken. So I'm like, I'm feather, drink some water. Ken, like he's had a heart attack. He's had deep vein thrombosis, so blood clotted along, nearly died. Ken, watched him nearly die twice in front of me, and I'm like, da, drink some water, bud. Like, Ken, like, look after yourself. I'm fine. I drink orange juice. I'm like, what? Like and he's like,
solid bro science.
Then on a Friday he'll go to Aldi's and he'll buy same shite, like six bottles of Staropramen and a half bottle of vodka to have his half watching the football.
Sound?
I get it, sound Mikey, but it's every week, bud. And then I'm like,
he's fucking in his 70s. What else did he go do?
I mean, like,
life's lived. He can fucking just enjoy his 6 cans and fucking have
training.
all of vodka watching
he's keeping his training up. He's consistent.
But the thing is, though, bud,
consistency wins, Robbie.
I think to myself, right, I do everything in my power to
take a
look
leaf
after
out his
myself
book
for longevity, so I can like look after my bairn and hopefully see my bairns, right? So I'm doing everything in my power for longevity and no drinking, no taking narcotics, training, trying to keep my mental heat in check, having good conversations with good people.
Aye, but your dad grew up in a time where all men did was drink.
Aye. So
he's going to look at you. He's going, you're over.
My father thinks I'm a pussy.
You think you're overthinking the shit out of this. He's like, just get.
Your dad thinks he's probably doing sound only having 6 beers and a huck and half bottle of vodka.
But my dad's just like, I don't know that much.
He's actually quite.
Because back in the day,
he's moderate.
He's like,
he'd have finished work and got fucking like, right. This is a shite night.
He come in and sit in his seat and he would play with us and jump about with us and play wrestling and that. But he would always have a couple of things. I can't in my mind my dad no coming in for his work and sitting having a drink. See if I come and drank every night, Rio would boot me for one end of the fucking living room to there. She'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
But again, it's a different generation, because back in the day, women wouldn't have done that. She'd have just got told.
Because men were much harder. You know, they wouldn't have accepted getting leathered after misses. I mean, obviously, you sound like you quite like it. No. You sound like you're fucking keen on that.
No, I've got a good missus, to be fair. I do love my missus to bits, but you can't. It's
not a fucking acceptance speech. She's going to kick your cunt in if you drink.
You see, ultimately, totally. She doesn't actually drink a lot either. She hardly likes it.
She's keeping her fucking eye on you. She's going to kick your head in if you start that fucking bevy session. Who's you think you're your dash?
We back Bob Frew at fucking manifesto days, but. That's a scary individual, like.
Getting your arm broken.
Oh, you fucker.
Who?
Mind I got put through fucking Vodafone window once, too. Fuck me, man. Some mental shit.
No, we fucking...
And Hassan broke me arm.
The wee boy that worked with me started doing a wee bit of jiu-jitsu and he's like, let me show you something, and broke his fucking arm.
Broke my arm.
In the show.
Put me in a Kimura and broke my arm in the show. So let me show you something. That was like a bit, But I was doing a wee bit of jits, but I wasn't right.
This is why white belts are dangerous.
And he put me in a Kimura essentially, right? So just no dip to the mic, but put me in a Kimura and broke my arm. And then about 4 weeks later, I'd got my fucking stookie off. I was 6 weeks later. I got into a fight with a guy outside a fucking Subway across from Manifesto, and he put me right through Vodafone window on the space of 6 weeks. So that was an eventful 6 weeks of my life.
Where did you learn how to get leathered with 4 weeks apart?
A few times, to actually learn how to fight and train. That's where I ended up.
These are the things, like, you need bad things happen to you to push you into good things.
That's pretty much what it is.
Like, if you hadn't had those things happen to you, would you have been doing jiu-jitsu for as long?
And then I wouldn't have modelled my life with regards to respect and being able to keep control of my temper, and because ultimately, fucking, I probably wouldn't have been able to do that without jiu-jitsu, essentially.
That's good.
I maybe would have, because I grow as an individual. I always want to learn and improve, but that definitely helped 100%. The minute my boy's old enough, he'll be going into some form of, whether he likes it or no. I'm not going to, one of the parents say, I'm going to make you do it, but I will make him do it. Yeah. Because
Jocko says if you ever want to get your kids into it, he says make it fun.
Aye.
That's the key. Make it good fun.
Ultimately, I teach them already.
If they're having fun, they'll enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And just for the record, I'm actually shit at jiu-jitsu, Like, I'm shite. Compared to some guys, I'm shit.
What's that purple belt like? How high is that up?
Purple belt's 2 away from black. So you get white belt, and then you get your tabs, essentially. Belts mean fuck all, pretty much. Well, they didn't mean fuck all, but you get your 4 tabs in your white, then you get blue belt, and then you get your 4 tabs in your blue, and then you get your purple belt. Once you're a purple belt, you're pretty much a junior black belt. So you pretty much know every position, every escape, every how the game works. You can hang with black belts. could tap black belts. But you just aren't quite as tight at certain positions as what a black belt would be.
And will you ever get to a black belt?
I was talking to Stevie the other day there, and that's not ultimately what my goal is. My goal is to be a black belt, of course it is. You wouldn't start it to not be a black belt. But the injury set me back, and it did set me back to the point that I'm a bit apprehensive about going back because I can't be in that position where everything I've got on in my life, work, the bairn,
so negative, Robbie.
Relationships, no, but
fucking gay.
And that's what the boys say.
I thought you wanted to be a man. When are you going to man the fuck up?
But I'm going back.
Reckless abandon.
And I will be going back.
Right, reckless all in.
I was a good wrestler, so I'm like,
fucking
reckless
all in.
Abandonment, not wrestling abandonment.
Total reckless abandon. Like just double fucking down. Die a hero.
Aye.
Be a hero.
Aye.
Like
your boy in the wheelchair.
Your boy doesn't want a dad. Your boy doesn't want a dad that goes, my dad was really cautious.
Blind in one eye, fucking paralysed.
So it's like
double knee up,
I can't get all this shit and no get to black belt.
I know you can't. I mean, you just
you may not make it a black belt though.
Purple belt.
That's my point.
Purple belt's just like it's like you get middle management and they buy like the Porsche 2 levels down for the turbo, and it's like
totally.
all you're saying, mate, is you missed target. You missed. You had a dream and fucking fell short.
There's boys that's trained at Braveheart the now that that's where they're trained at Braveheart. There's boys that trained at Braveheart the now that have never stopped training. There's boys that we started with that have taken big time away from the mat. Obviously, life happens, kids happen, work happens, etc. And
I just heard excuse. I don't know if they came out the same as you. I just heard that.
That's exactly what I heard.
It can be hard.
I heard excuse in 3 languages.
The only thing that's ever stopped me from training was this back injury. That was the only thing that
I'm going to hit out all 3. Okay. One of you, what? You're going to buy at least one of them.
Because I used to finish a 16-hour shift, and I used
another one.
But I used to finish a 16-hour shift, and I used to drive straight through my shift to training.
That's good.
Like I wouldn't go in. Like
what? You sit outside?
No, I would go into training, but I wouldn't go home. Like I wouldn't have none to eat. I would just go straight to training.
Solid.
And I'd straight to
training. I knew there was fucking masculinity in there somewhere.
I done that all the time. And then when the bairn's born, obviously you can't do that 5 days a week when your bairn's born. You just can't. You've got to help your missus. You've got a bairn. You've got a responsibility. You've got to go in. And then coming in is something I've never felt like that's hard to like.
You think the fucking cavemen done that? The
women always looked trained though, Gio.
The cavemen were out fucking saber-toothed tigers. They weren't going, I can't go to jiu-jitsu because I need to be there. I need to be a paternal fucking father.
I know, but
like they were out fucking beating the shit out of some prey so they could cook.
True.
They weren't saying, I need to get back for the bairn.
True, but I want to spend time with my bairn too. Like I love my bairn to bits. Like he's the best
thing that's ever when you're finished with training.
I mean, in his bed. Because I work long hours, and he'll be in his bed, and then I didn't see him. So he wants
a real dad.
Man.
He wants a man.
You're coming home early. He's like, who the fuck's this?
He's got a
dick-skinned weasel with a bad back and fucking cauliflower.
I've got a bad back. That's
fucking.
He's got a dad that would have been a man if he didn't listen to his own excuses.
I ken it can come across like that victim mentality. The back injury was the worst injury I've ever had in my life, ever, to the point it totally disabled me, and it put me off a wee bit because I was like, I need to be able to function for my family. I can't function for my family if I'm fucked. Mm-hmm. But now I'm feeling tipped up again. And I'm like, maybe I just need to get one last roll of the dice. But be careful. That's what I was talking to Stevie about. Be careful. Ken?
Real men never think that. Real men never think be careful. They just fucking go in again. Yeah.
How'd you be careful fighting?
You can.
If you wanted to be,
it's like when you're at primary school and you're having a fight and then someone hits you first, you're like, I wasn't ready.
But you just need to adapt your game. The jiu-jitsu is the beauty, whereas I didn't need to start standing as much. I didn't need to wrestle as much as I used to. I didn't need to double leg as much as I used to.
You're not getting this black belt.
As much as we're joking, like jokes aside, the thing being is, you could have had that back injury at your work. You could be paralysed tomorrow at your work. Right, but you're not sitting there going, well, I need to be careful, I need that. And you're like, look, shit will happen, it's going to happen. There's no point in fucking getting it in your mind that you can't do something you love, that you know that's great for you, and worry about what coulda, shoulda, woulda, and that take off your potential. Because the thing being is you do that, you put yourself in that mindset, you're just in a slippery slope, because you're never going to fucking hit the throttle all the way down. And if you like, think of it, I mean, play that out. Imagine your life. You go to the end of your life, you've fucking got the grandmains, you've got everybody's there, and you went, you're bullshitting them about how you got to purple belt, and you could have got to black, and you never because of your back, and fucking, they're going to be like, Granda, I thought you were a fucking hero, but that's pish.
Ultimately, I win the day that, though, but I get what you're saying. It's all drunk cunt in the pub that says, "Oh, I could have been a football player."
That could be you.
I got the knee injury. I wouldn't be like,
you've heard
just
that.
shut my puss about it. But at the same time, I hear what you're saying.
What you could do, you could change now, where you could fucking go all in. You go, look, this could have happened at any time, any place. It just happened here. Doesn't put me off. I'm going to finish what I started.
I appreciate
and then you can
well.
fucking say, look, your grand is a black belt.
I appreciate that.
And they'll have the fucking respect for you. They'll be like, he's got a set of balls in him. You know, there was a few times he played the victim card and, you know, that sort of stuff. A few times a night.
Don't lie. Fuck you. Don't lie. I get what you're saying. But, I hear you. And see, the thing is, I actually believe me in bullshit sometimes. Like I genuinely do.
Oh no, yeah, everyone's been there.
This is what you need. This is why you need good men around you to call you out. Like the decent thing when you've got a group of guys, we've got to call you out in your shit. See when you're like, oh, but the misses, and that, get the fuck.
I see guys that get behind that shit. They're not your friends.
And it's not like,
oh, you're right. No, you're not fucking right.
It's not to say like there is. You definitely need to look after your family. You definitely look after your misses. But when you're pulling the cop out card, and there's a disingenuous fucking chat about how you're using it.
I haven't been able to. That's the God's honest truth. That's not an excuse. I have been fucked. I've not actually been able to do much in regards to physical activity with regards to that. I've been I've just been lifting weights, but just doing what I can do without aggravating it. But I'm actually feeling pretty strong again, to the point where I can start to I'm just not getting as much pain about my back. I'm not getting any sciatica. Oh, what? Just like lifting wise? Well, I'm still doing fucking 42 kilo dumbbells, no bother. Easy, bud.
Easy.
For curls?
No for curls, just for benching. And ultimately, that's maybe no much for yourselves. But like, for me, I mean, I'm naturally quite a wee man. I'm natural. Like, I'm not on any anabolics. I've not taken anabolics for a lot of year. And I'm fucking, anybody will tell you that. I'm not boosting my ego now, but I'm strong. I'm strong, like. But I think if you train over 10 years and you're lifting weights, there's no really a week I've missed. Even when my back is fucked, I still try and lift weights, whether it's stationary or machine or something. I think it's impossible not to lift, if you lift weights over 10 years, to not be pushing that type of weight.
You done anything to try and strengthen your back? You've been doing like deads or anything, try and build up the muscles? No, it just makes it worse, bud. Any forward bends or deadlifts or squatting just tends to make it worse. What I tend to try and do is just like sort of like loads of cobra posing. So how are you meant to strengthen this then if they're not going to do anything about it? So the disc still bulging now? I
don't know. I'm not getting any sciatic pain.
So have you not been to get it checked?
I went to get it checked. It was herniated. There was a rupture in my disc. It was herniated. Between my L4 and L5 was herniated. It was completely slipped.
And what did they do?
Nothing. They said they could do surgery, but they pretty much said you'll need to. They gave me some stretches, cobra pose, no forward bends, no touching your toes, no shit like that, all backwards bending to get your spine back aligned. So all backwards bending. So now I've got a set routine and strengthen your hips. So a lot of maybe like Bulgarian split squats, etc. Do a lot of hip strength, and that's what I've been doing, and it seems to be helping. So every day I'll get up and I'll do these stretches and I'll do push-ups and then I'll just do that and then I'll go to the gym and just do.
So you plan on rolling if you're not like bend forward?
That's the problem with jiu-jitsu, bud. Jiu-jitsu is very sporadic. You didn't care where it's going to go. So I'm going to have to gear. I'm going to be rolling it. That's what I'm saying. I'm still going to be able to gain the knowledge, but I'm physically going to have to roll at about 60% of my capacity. I will have to, because I can't lean down when I'm wrestling and have somebody put it in my neck, because it could go, because it's very, very prone to going again. I can't do a forward roll or get put in a twister. So I'm going to have to gear up positions to allow myself to roll. So I will be rolling at 60% of my capacity. I can't roll 100%. If I do, I'll be injured again, rapid. So I've got to be careful. That's what I'm saying. It's not a matter of what I'm going to quit. I'm not going to quit.
I like your gamble though.
It's a bit like Steve. It's a bit like I kind of mentioned Ray a few times today, but it's a bit like Stevie. Stevie's still fighting, professional fighter. He's in the UFC. He's in the PFL now. But Stevie's had multiple operations on his knees. Great wrestler in his day, but he can't wrestle as much as he used to now because his knees are fucked. He'll tell you that openly.
So what did he do to get around it?
To get around his knees?
Yep.
you've just got to adapt to it. Really, you just got to adapt. You can't wrestle as much.
And did he pull out the victimhood card, or is that just exclusive to you?
I don't know. I can't speak for the folk. I can't speak for the, but I think he's went through his own struggles in that as well. And I think
sounds as a good bit of victimhood in there.
And I think
real men bottle up to their 45 and just fucking explode in a midlife crisis. Mind the good old fashioned days where cunts just show up with a fucking sports car and leave their wife.
Totally.
None of this let's chat about it. Just fucking 40. Just bottle up for 20 years. It sheer disappointment. Got a new bird and brought her home to introduce her to the wife.
Totally.
Like the good old days. None of this, my trauma and my childhood shit, my struggles. I'm going to let the pressure build.
Porsche and get a fucking young bird.
Canary yellow Porsche and a fucking 20-year-old bird.
I've heard the Fusion stories like that for me. Fuck me, man.
That's how it used to be back in the day.
Back when men were real men.
One of my mates I knew, we'll name him, you can Black, Alan Black. No, Alan Black, he's a big advocate for it. He was a
PT boy.
PT.
Was an army in that.
I know
who you're on about.
Really good guy, Blackie, really good guy. And he's seen a lot of fucking shit things, and he did a couple of tours of Afghan and that, and he was one of the ones that was falling into that sort of victim sort of, like a bit like, I couldn't, but I knew. And he used to work with me in that, and he went away and done his PT, his PTing in the army and stuff like that, and he's a level 4 PT now, and he's got he started off just locally in Cowden Beef, and then everybody went to him, and he was in a bit of a dark place a couple of years ago, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying that, and I went and climbed a few Monroes with him, and ultimately I was his catalyst to pull him out of that dark place, because I was in such a positive mindset. I'm not in a dark place now, boys, I'm quite happy, but you have sort of boosted my spirits a wee bit tonight as well, which I appreciate, but I sort of pulled him out that dark hole, and then with his own self-determination and his own mindset and how strong he is, he's total flourishing in his PT now, and he's just opened up his new gym down at Cowden Beef. It's called Alan Black's Performance Institute, and he's been at me a few times. Like, I've got a vast knowledge on obviously fitness and health and diet and stuff like that. He's telling me to go and do your level 3 and come in just as a part-time role and take classes and stuff like that. So it's something I'm looking to do, because it's something I enjoy doing, and it would be in an aspect, and you can make a bit of extra coin as well just for doing something you enjoy, as opposed to having to work. I mean, I'm not going to leave my work, but I do enjoy my job.
So I think money's shit in the fitness industry.
Aye, that's it. I'm not going to leave my job for that, and I do actually enjoy my job. Believe it or not, I do enjoy my job. I enjoy working at the rescue, and I enjoy the aspects of the job. But I would like to have an extra income, whether it be investing or PTing, doing something I enjoy. Well, ultimately, I can make the same money I make having to slave and make the X amount of overtime. Because for me to make good money, I'm out the house 16 hours a day sometimes, pal. Do you get what I mean?
No.
Aye. Okay.
I don't know what you mean.
So I'm out the house.
The thing being is, like, these choices and it's good that you point them out, because I know we're jesting and joking around a bit, but like in a serious note, people. It's like, how many people don't even get to the point where they get to that stage in their life where they go, I need to consider something else. Because a lot of people just get 20, 30 years into a career and they're like, this is all there is. There's a whole world out there. And they're like, nah, this is all it is. And you go, there isn't. There's more out there. And it's all these twists and turns that can sort of get you there. And sometimes the twists and turns aren't what you want. But life will deal you what you need, not what you want. To get you where you need to go. And you get to pick at the crossroads. So you're going to go back to the negative doer, victim, it wasn't me, it didn't work out. Or are you going to go, well, I don't see this as the end, I see this as the beginning. That door closed and this one's open, and I'm going to go into it, and I've got a goal and I've got a dream and I've got aspirations, and I've seen that there's more out there, and I'm prepared to let go of this comfort blanket to push on. Like, these are the things that are pretty good that you're noticing, even though you feel like you're a slave to the system. It can be difficult. It's I done a video on what that would look like if it was a wave, and the one of the worst ones, that like the most difficult people to fix are the ones that cut the top of the enjoyment off, to cut the bottom of the downside off, because it flattens their life, so they just don't have the adventure Like that up and down volatility creates an adventure because when you go down, getting back up feels great, and then you reach the top and it's great, and then you something else happens. That's a fucking roller coaster, right? And then when you flatten that down, what do they say? It's just for the easy life. And you go, that's no life, that's no living.
Because you obviously love what you do, brother.
Love what I do.
You love what you do. You love your job.
I have a great life.
Aye.
But I still want more.
That's it.
And I mean, I do what I do, and I've seen myself working like 19, 20 hours in a day, not because I feel that I need to, because I love it. I don't have any sort of thought going.
And see, the thing is, I'm really happy for these. Like genuinely, for the bottom of my heart, I'm really happy for anybody succeeding in life and enjoying life. But I'm envious of it because I think I didn't hate my life. I enjoy my life. I actually really enjoy my job. But ultimately, I would like to make a wee bit more money doing something I enjoy as well. I don't know, and it's not even just about money because
it's about freedom.
Material wealth and material. It's about your freedom and time. I can make a good living wage when I'm offshore or onshore at the rescue, or I can make a good wage, but you're sacrificing your time with your loved ones and doing stuff you enjoy to make that good wage, and that's why I feel, and that's why sometimes
your top priority, whether you like it or not, is your slave master. Because you can't pay the house, the wife, the food, the son, the clothing, everything you need. You go, well, they come first. So I need to do this for my job, because if we don't have the job, then we can't do all the fucking fill in blank. And that's the wrong way around, because essentially you're enslaved. You're enslaved. You have a master totally that you serve.
You're totally right.
And it's grim.
And it's shit.
Yeah.
And I realise that, but and it's shit because it's not an unhappy existence. But you're like, surely there's got to be how do you,
wanting more is a good thing though. See people that are just content with mediocre. I don't understand that.
They're just happy with doing because
they're going nowhere and they're thrilled about it.
I went in to watch the Scotland game a few weeks ago, and I had when Euros, and first time I've been in a pub in a long while.
Yeah.
And I went in and there was the same faces sitting in this pub, Geo, right? And I said that, and there was same faces, right? No, I have nothing against the boys that are same faces, Cowden beef loddies and that. And you see them, they go to the same golf do.
They're not bad people, they're just fucking wasting their own time.
And they go to the same golf do weekly. Some of them are actually doing better financially in life than me, but they're just in this rut, this is Cowden beef, this is what we do, this is that, and then I sat down next to this bloke, right, who maybe is doing a wee bit better than me financially or whatever. I mean, I'm not hard up financially, but Ken, a wee bit more business savvy, like yourself or like Mikey, right? And
I don't have a clue.
I'm fucking Ken, and I was just like, and he was sitting, and the first thing he could do was attack my character. I like. Me and you could.
You being a negative Nancy in the pub.
I never said fuck all. Me and you could rip each other all day, right?
Yeah.
Or the three of us could sit and tear at each other. Like, you've just told me a new arsehole, bud. Never once did I take it personally, right? Or wanted to punch fuck at you, or vice versa, right? It's banter. But I didn't hang about with this guy. Like, this guy's not my friend. He's not even a dear acquaintance. And I sat down next to him, instead of just saying, all right, Bob, how's the family? How are you, pal? But it's like, what's with the mullet? What's with that? What you got on? What's with your tash? And it's like, look at the state of you, bud. You're a fat bastard. You're down here drinking and I hate being spiteful and hateful. But I was like, in my head I was thinking, I didn't even react. I was just like, aye, bud, whatever. Ken just went away and just spoke to my other neighbour, Ken. But I thought, mate, I'll strangle you unconscious if I wanted to. Ken, you're sitting there, you're a fucking mess.
Did you walk away?
Ken. I did.
He won.
Aye, but I was like, no, I won. But I was like, but see, the thing is, all joking aside, it's not about winning, eh? I just thought, you have to bring others down to make yourself feel better about yourself, because you're sitting like a bag of shit, bud.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't matter if you're a millionaire, you're still envious of me because I'm fucking in shape. I had a mullet, I was rocking the mullet, I had a bit of tash going, and fucking when I walked in, they two birds' heads at the bar turned to look at me, and when you walked in, they didn't even turn their head. You know, that was fucking, Ken, I'm not on board about validation of women or that, I'm no. But that makes men, because they go, fuck, I might have all the money in the world, I might be this, but you can't, I'm not the alpha in the room, that boy's the alpha in the room, because I have to feel like I can slag him off, because clearly he's got dedication with training, clearly he's got a bit of style about him, and clearly, so I couldn't speak positively about myself. But I find that a lot, jealousy is a fucking big thing for men. No, but instead of just saying, I like when somebody says to you, by the way, you're looking great, mate. You're fucking good shit. There's nothing wrong with complimenting.
No, not at all, mate. Not at all.
Nothing wrong with complimenting somebody and say, fucking, you're looking in good shape, bud. Okay, instead of fucking trying to, definitely having a slagging match and having a bit of banter, but what's the point of just bringing men down all the time?
I mean, that's the thing.
Validation.
It's like it's the intent. It's always the intent, and that's the thing is about like where is it coming from?
Aye.
Like if we're having a bit of fun, I carry on. It's boys being boys. Correct. It's enjoyment. You go. There's a bit of banter, a bit of crack. You're feeling each other out to go like where's the boundaries?
And also,
like,
we have no boundaries. Okay, what I mean.
And I'm just
like canny a wee bit. If we're not in this situation, bud, our conversation would be even more. Like I would be more cutthroat.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
No. You temper it, and this is what I mean. Is like I'm looking at like the way that you were interacting in the group chat, and I'm thinking, right, we're going to have a feel about here because we need to see what we're dealing with. And that's the thing is that you get that feel because the to and fro is you're sort of. It's like if somebody, it's the mental version of like rolling around. You're like, what you got? Like, who are you? Like, can you take a bit of crack? Can you take it back? You know, we're feeling around.
Where cunts that get butt hurt, I'm not compatible with them.
Mikey's.
It's like fuck off, you greeting face weak cunt.
Totally.
Take a fucking ripping. Didn't get offended. Slag me back. Pick anything. Look at you with your fucking feet. Say anything. Who gives a fuck?
Just rip back.
Shoot back. You fucking gimp.
Like. There's certain folk I wouldn't tolerate saying anything about my missus or like see somebody I fucking it's not an acquaintance, no a friend, I don't like him, he slags my missus off, they'll get a serve bus. But I'm sure Mikey said he's ploughed at the back of my missus about 100 times. I'm like, alright, crack on, bud. Get what I mean?
That was Morgan Wallen.
Oh, was it? Was it? Alright. Is that correct?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever said I've ploughed at my missus at all.
That's the first time I think I've seen Rio Wet in about fucking 2.5 years when she seen Morgan Wallen at Hyde Park. Like, I mustn't be cutting it anywhere, bro. I mean, just keeps on complimenting your biceps, do
I do have good biceps, to be fair.
Fuck, I fucked it. I'm a parasite.
See if that guy at the golf course gets intel of this. He's going to aim for
pumping his fucking biceps.
He's going to be in for the weak spot. He's like, mate, what are they fucking biceps about? You wearing that mullet to hide the fucking lack of guns. Here, Big Mikey's looking good. I didn't hear it directly. It was your missus that said it. Just fucking turning the screw. But that's the thing is, it's about feeling around and like, you know what it's like. You go in and you have a fucking slagging match. The my missus doesn't understand it. I mean, some of the chats, like some of the messages that me and Mikey have sent, she's like, I don't fucking get this.
Well, I would get to jail. Some of my chats. I would literally, if somebody was to go back my chats, I could be him. And even I think how our group chat will start to materialise and start to expand. I actually reckon I would get to jail. Like,
and that's a sign of a good group chat.
That's a sign of a good group chat.
That's a healthy group.
Aye.
The healthy group is that
it's not fairness. Anything on social media these days, it's fucking no hard to get to jail.
Oh no, but I'm talking about just tongue in cheek though. But we're slagging each other off in a healthy banter.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Aye. No, but no, but I came what you're saying.
And this is what I mean about guys is like I say to the missus, like you come on, you feel like you fucking 20 years of therapy there in one fucking session. You're like, that was good. You blew off a bit of steam there. That was good. Everybody feels good. You're like, it was all right. And the missus is like, I don't get it. How can you be an absolute arsehole to people? Like a complete arsehole, and they love you.
There's a way to be an arsehole, though.
And there's being an
exactly. Arsehole, and there's being an arsehole. And they're fucking different.
And you know the connection because somebody's doing it, and you're going, "This is fucking fun. We're having a good bit of to and fro here." And there's no malice. It's no hurt feelings. It's just engaging in that sort of primal activity.
I cunts that take offence to it. It's just insecurity, weak fucking shit. Like what kind of. And obviously, if you hear a chap at some cunt and he gets right but hurt about it, you're like, all right, red button. Push it, fucking Ken, you know what I mean? Don't show weakness in front of me.
Aye.
It's when you're just like, I don't know what I say because of my job. I'm like,
Aye.
Wow.
No, but it's no, it's
dance, Robbie.
You can my feelings on every topic. Right?
I don't, mate.
But
what are you talking about?
But that's what I'm saying.
Which one?
Which one?
Like. Fucking no, I'm not going to
that's
what I'm saying.
The dole cute is lovely.
That's the shit thing though, but that is the shit thing because you have got freedom of speech. If I wanted to really vocalise,
you do have freedom of speech.
Aye, you do.
You have a choice.
Aye.
You can say what you want or be employed.
Aye. You get what I'm saying though, eh?
No.
But even to an extent, like we were talking about, there's a difference between freedom of speech and hate speech,
massively.
And I think that's where what they're trying to.
And it's really a scale of how much of a snowflake you are where that line moves.
Correct,
yeah, for sure.
And I think that's what the mainstream media are trying to portray, that freedom of speech is now being regarded as hate speech, which isn't the case. Like you can have freedom of speech and voice concerns or your opinion without being hateful. Like it is plausible to do that without being tarred.
Hurting somebody's feelings is not hate, but they're blending that line that anything that hurts anybody's feelings or can be offended by anything is classed as hate.
100%.
It's like classing Andrew Tate as a terrorist. Andrew Tate isn't a terrorist, but you classifying him is going to change people's perception based on the bracket that you've put around it.
100%.
And that's gaslighting. You go gaslighting 101. Let me label something. Let me tell you what you should think about that, and then we can bracket anyone that doesn't fit our narrative, and now they're all bad because they're in that bracket that we've created.
It's amazing how many people would say to you, like you would ask somebody that's not educated on the subject of that. We'll just go back to Tate, I suppose, and say, you was talking about Andrew Tate, and somebody will say,
just be careful, you're about to become a terrorist.
But that's what you talk about. I know.
The fucking terror priest is waiting outside the door.
Due to your care and all that, right? But you'd go, and you would, and they would say, right, okay, like, I just didn't like him because he's a misogynist. Now, listen, I didn't care Andrew Tate. Fuck, I didn't see Andrew Tate as a messiah. I've watched some of his content. I'm neither up nor down with him, to be honest. But at the same time, a lot of his points are accurate, in my opinion, and a lot of his points are fucking a bit fucking whatever. But however, and I'm not just saying that to be agreeable. Sometimes I didn't folks him as a messiah.
I was going to do a Tate portrait, but the boy bottled it.
But I do think he's all right. Yeah, I do think he's all right. But somebody will say
probably for the best.
You'll ask a woman, and you'll be like, oh, well, I think he's a misogynist. And you'll say, well, explain misogyny. Why is he a misogynist? And they don't even know what the term misogyny is.
I just heard it and I attached it on.
And you're like, well, you can't even.
There's loads of words like that nowadays. Narcissism, misogyny, toxic, this, that, and the next thing. It's just they're just words now that are fucked around. And you're a narcissist. What's a narcissist?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you've offended me. Go to jail. I'll ask you a fucking question.
I have blue hair. I have blue hair, and you must respect my blue hair.
There was my pronouns. I can't mind the boy. I don't know the boy's name, but he's got a podcast and he kind of does it with women, and they speak about different. I know who you're talking about. Do you know what I'm on about? American lads.
It's like the guy has a panel of birds on, and they sort of fucking. He just
but it's not the Asian dude; it's the white guy.
I let some sort of chat, and they're all like having this chat, and they end up. They never girls
up in that.
They eventually. He gives them enough rope to hang themselves, essentially, and then he produces the point.
Boy with the black beard.
I don't know.
He's got a beard. No, but you're on about. There's an Asian dude that's really. They're both American. There's an Asian.
Two of them. There's the Asian guy,
and then there's a white gingery type guy. And obviously on the podcast, one lassie's
Fresh podcast or something.
I don't know what it's called, but the lassie's like, they're just all toxic masculinity. He's like, what is toxic masculinity? And she just starts crying because she can't explain it, and then leaves the fucking podcast. I want to go now.
And you're like, well,
he's like, I only fucking asked her if she didn't like that. Fuck, she'd have got afraid with what I said next.
Only asking you a question.
It's not actually. Maybe it is. New Fit and Fresh.
That's it.
That's
the one.
Yes.
That's the one. Fit and Fresh.
Yeah, that guy.
He has got a beard.
Yeah, it's not black. He's like ginger or something.
No, he's like light brown.
It's quite brown.
The white dude. What is it? Oh, yeah, fuck knows. It's been a minute since I've seen him.
It's not like yours, like pure carrot face.
I've barely got it. I had my tash, but Charlie didn't like it.
To be fair, your beard is mental, because right now your beard looks like blonde, but when it gets longer, it's fucking ginge.
Aye, like this bit's like blonde, and then this bit's like ginger.
But the rest looks blonde and Nutero.
Does it?
Aye. But when
I don't really pay attention to my face much these days.
But when it grows longer, it
doesn't look overly ginger now, does it?
When it grows longer, it's right gang.
We can get Dale to ginger it up.
No,
I miss my beard, man. I can't like.
Why do you not have a beard?
Face fits.
Well, we're breathing apparatus for going into rescue for confined space work, or when I'm doing work with.
So not only is speech controlled, it's facial hair controlled.
Aye, so but it's just so I can get in the event.
Do they measure you for the collar, or how does it work?
It's to fit in the peripheral seal, essentially. So
I'm talking about your slave collar.
Aye. I know, It's shite.
Well, boys, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Cheers, blah.
What a hoot. We've went all places, all directions.
I know. Thanks very much. I really appreciate you having me on as well, boys. I appreciate that.
It's been a long time coming.
So
it was good to
Next
finally
one will be a wee bit more light-hearted if I ever get back.
Well, you fucking got all you've managed to...
I got all my shit
out. You'll fucking have to be light-hearted. There's nowhere else we can go.
Because everybody will know you're a fucking victim player if you bring it out again.
Totally.
We just need to... I think the first sort of session was like, right, can we get you to deal with it? And if you bring it out again, we're just going to go full slaughter mode.
Well, the first session was just to see if he would fucking turn up.
I mean,
late, but he fucking came.
I did well. Like, wasn't it too late?
19 minutes late. 19 minutes. For Robbie, that's not bad to be
That's
fair.
fucking basically on time.
Essentially.
To be fair, a lot better I'm not going to play the victim again, and I'm not going to blame my beautiful girl. But I said to her, I need to be left for about 4 o'clock.
He's going to play the victim.
You should fucking write. You should write shit for LinkedIn, because see all that piss you come out with. That's LinkedIn. I just like to thank my wife. I couldn't do anything without her. You know, I've got an amazing son, amazing family, amazing employer. I love my job. I'd love to not be a slave, but I love the slavery system. I've been indoctrinated. Better than I've got a fucking thank for it. NHS are cunts and that lethal jab. But if I needed medical treatment, I know they'd be there for me. Like, what the fuck?
You're fucking bang on. I'd like to argue with you, you're bang on.
The fucking LinkedIn crew are like, whoa man, this guy's fucking got it. I'm going to get him to do the next fucking batch of content, because no matter where he goes, he just fucking lashes it. But I just like to thank the NHS, my back. I wouldn't be able to do jiu-jitsu. I might get that black belt yet, but the fucking vaccines, don't get me started on them.
I'll admit, just before we wrap up, I admit that I'm a bit fucking fucked up, I'm a bit scatterbrained at times, but I'm rational thinking and I'm a good person. So
rational thinking, once you get out the half empty cup.
Aye. But you came on like, if I've got someone in my head, I'll pester you some off,
Yeah, I like to ignore you because I know it winds you up.
Aye.
That's what
just
friends
like 25 messages
sometimes
on the bounce.
Sometimes I do just annoy.
It doesn't even annoy me in the slightest.
Aye, I'm a bit.
And I'll just ignore him.
I've got better now.
He's coming out the hole.
Aye, sound.
It was a pleasure, boys. Thanks for coming on. It was good fun. Wow. So we hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Mount Mindset. It was a bit of a different one. We do some serious chat. We do deep dives on all things mindset. It was great having Robbie in. It's been a long time coming. Good friends with Mikey. We started off in a bit of light-hearted sort of mode, but as all things we go weeding out, we found the tricks and traps of falling into a negative mindset, that the words that you have are powerful and that it's easy for you to fall into that pattern of language that can then set the tone for your life. We went through it with Robbie. He was really open, he was really candid, and it was great to go through them and show exactly how you can change that and what you can do to change that pattern, which will immediately change your feelings, which will ultimately change your results. So if you do want to make a change, you can absolutely do it. And the power doesn't come outside, it sits within us all. So that was a great lesson, and what we picked out for Robbie's story was being able to see those things where he had the perspective, and then we reviewed it and looked at it in a manner in which only guys can do, that can have a bit of rough and tumble and a bit of crack and enjoy a little bit of teasing, with the idea that you can go in there and you can say, hey, look, it's not as bad as you think. Pick yourself up, brush yourself down and aim for the stars. So what a great way to end the podcast. We hope you enjoyed this. Look out for all our social media posts. We are on school, our mindset coaching community. So if you like what we're doing here, we do a mindset coaching call every Sunday at 7 p.m. The reason we do it on Sunday is because your week doesn't start on the Monday. You take it on the Sunday. You go in there, and if you want to smash the week, it starts in your mind, and there's no better place to do it. If you want to get involved, check the show notes below. And from me this week, that's a wrap.